You know what?
And we're live.
You know what it is?
What?
It's this goddamn daylight savings
This
time.
is goddamn daylight savings
Jeez,
time.
if I turn mine on, you could still see me fine, right?
Yeah, actually,
You know why?
I even put the backdrop back up because it was brighter than I
I
thought it would
got
help. But
I got blackout curtains, Alan. That's why. Oh, I'm
nice.
also 2 hours ahead of you, so that's a big part of it.
I wonder
Turns
if
out 7 o'clock's dark here.
I wonder if I switch the light to this side, if it would make a difference. Should I try or not?
Yeah, fuck it. I still got to double check the comedy clips.
I
Way too many comedy clips. I asked for too much last week.
Well, we did have kind of a dry spell there for a bit.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
All right, let me see what happens if I put this over here. Just not really working over there.
Okay.
Get that cable.
Control paste. What happened? My control V still doesn't work.
Let's see if that's better. It's not really better. Is that better? No. Hey. Well, I just am going to have shitty lighting for a while until the sun goes down. Oh, that's so weird.
There's light coming in through the top of your
window.
Does that window face west?
It faces yes,
southwest or west.
Yes.
Okay. There's a gap, and the sun's coming up through the
top, right?
Yeah, but that's pretty typical. How short are those curtain brackets?
Pretty short.
Shallow.
Yeah, pretty shallow.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be how it is until this.
Me and you know way too much about window treatments from working at
you know what? We know
I don't
way
think
too much
people
about
call them window treatments outside of working at Bed Bath & Beyond. Actually,
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we know way too much about a lot of things. For my retail education has been quite extensive.
Yeah, that's true, man. And very yes.
I can tell you all about duvet covers and thread counts.
I'm very picky on a pillow.
Pillows, yeah.
Oh my god, you put your head on it, yeah. Possibly more picky on that than a mattress. I mean, you want a good mattress.
You want a good mattress.
Mattress will change. There's not much you can do unless you're buying mattresses left and right all the time. But like, you get a good pillow.
They're slinging mattresses.
It's holding your fucking head. Like,
it is doing that. That's true.
Pain, back. Yeah, a lot of
Maybe I should get 2 ring lights. I have one on either side.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, or one of those umbrellas that like redirect the light.
Yeah. Or maybe a green screen behind me would be cool.
Oh, you know what? A green screen.
Because would.
No, you mean that actually blocks the light, like a legit green screen, or just a backdrop?
Well, like a
filter one that comes native with the app.
No, an actual IRL.
Oh, with like
I could put whatever I want, like Joel did when we had. Sure,
like get a green zebra with a dick.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Although I don't think that wouldn't. You want it to be uniform. You want it just to be like.
Oh right, yeah.
Remember when Joel was on with us and he could switch his background to be like different stuff?
Oh yeah.
That's just he has a green screen behind him.
Or it's a wall.
Yeah.
I don't know. You sure that wasn't just a filter? Like that wasn't just like an app thing?
I don't think so. That seemed pretty like I felt like that was a green screen to me, but I'm not sure. Couldn't. I know a lot of streamers use those.
Actual backdrops, like for projections, huh?
Yeah. You can buy it's essentially like just a white, backdrop.
Very senior government Israeli official accuses U.S. government of seeking to out Netanyahu. Go fuck yourself. Do you want dome missiles or not?
Out Netanyahu as what? Gay? Like that's weird.
I can't think of anything better. Actually, I can. I got a question. Well, no, that feeds really well into a question I plan to ask you to start the show.
Okay.
I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Alan sent in a bunch of clips, comedy clips. I can't possibly play all of them.
You can't play all those. No, definitely not. There's
I've got 3 from Thrash I'm not going to play. I'm going to do TJ Miller, I think, is a good exception for crowd work, but maybe crowd work doesn't work on a podcast.
Oh.
Does it? Maybe it does.
I think if it's good, it probably works.
Okay. Well, I honestly didn't watch it. I just trust TJ Miller.
Yeah, it's fair.
Well, which is probably you shouldn't trust TJ Miller as long as we're being explicit with what we're talking about. But
X gonna give it to you.
Yeah. My Control V works again. It's weird. It didn't work, and then it does. So I got one from Thrash, one from Paul. Loadmaster. Oh no, Loadmaster didn't send in stand up. I went to paste it and I did something else, so it's gone.
Oh, all right.
Slicky Boy.
I was looking at the group chat earlier. Man, we got pretty deep over there yesterday.
I saw the notifications coming in. I was like, I can't join this conversation.
Yeah,
It's my night.
Yeah,
getting into religion and stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna jump in and say, well, I was right. I was raised pescatarian. But this moment kind of passed.
Yeah.
What's that say? Oh, I won from Way. Okay, Alan, pick one. Which one do you like the most?
Of
The
mine.
Michael Che one. We should probably do the one about the reviews.
Yes, we have to do that one.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do.
Okay.
Okay, these ones will go to the unused heap.
Okay.
That's a lot of good stand-up.
Yeah.
All of those were great.
Good times. Light's kind of working now.
Good. Oh yeah, that looks fine. Right into the mic. Good job. You're kind of the side. Shouldn't give you too much shit.
We haven't. Are we recording audio yet?
Yeah, just to be safe.
Okay.
So some of that's in there. That question when you asked me if BB was gay or something like that, that's in there. Let's see. I think I'm good on my beverages. Are you good on beverages?
I am. I have water and I have a proper beverage.
Oh, I sent you a picture. Did you see that picture?
Where'd you send it? Text or Instagram?
Text message. Yeah, who knows if it went through.
No, I don't have a picture.
Oh, I sent you a picture of me pointing at the screen while the cursor's pointing at something. And I've made the same shape with my hand. It was really impressive.
Oh, man.
This is why people paid to join the Discord or Patreon. Hear this kind of bullshit before we do a fucking show.
Hey, we're warming up here.
I am. Yeah. I'm feeling pretty warmed up.
Feeling pretty warm?
Pretty warm. I'm going to move my little picture up to so I look at the camera. I know you were going to say something inappropriate. Chill out.
Your vocal cords are functional?
Barely. Yeah, you know what I mean? Maybe you didn't. I'm not going to explain it.
Okay.
I'm going to go here. Does this work? Nope. Okay, that was close. Does this work? No. That was close. I almost didn't load the soundboard.
Oof. You gotta load the soundboard.
What James sent in some great sounds that I didn't get into the soundboard yet.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but I'll send it to you. It's neither here nor there.
I am gay.
Okay.
What?
Was
that BB?
That was that. That was that FIFA guy. Remember when he was like,
I am disabled. I am black.
Oh, yes. I recall.
So loud.
That's quite loud, yes.
I can't make it much quieter.
I am a woman.
It's weird that those are all related. I don't know what he's implying with that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're still doing primaries. It's like, why?
Why?
I don't know.
There's nobody else.
It's like Georgia's doing it right now, and I don't know, a couple other states.
It'll
Yeah.
be funny if Trump got
Mississippi.
it would be funny if Trump doesn't get 100% in Georgia, right? Like, because nobody else is still in the race. Like, you can't make them. They're like, no, I
You
don't want.
can't. Yeah, that's uncommitted.
Yeah. Wow. You know, it's too bad during that whole uncommitted thing in Michigan. If Justin Amash was on the ticket, he was a congressman from Michigan. And he's a Palestinian whose family was uprooted by Israeli settlers. Like, if he was on the ballot, Justin Amash would have got the Michigan primary.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did
The
not know
Libertarian
that
Party doesn't know
backstory.
how to keep their moderates, and they shun them because of purity tests and bullshit. I mean, look at me, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
moderate me.
that's funny.
America is suffering from erectile dysfunction.
I don't know. It's in my head. I think I'll ask you a question before let's see. I have an opening sound. What do I want the opening sound to be? I've got Jordan Peterson. I think I'm gonna just. Do you want a Puerto Rican clip, Alan,
Sure.
for your people, por la gente?
Sure.
All right.
I have no idea what this is, but
Oh, I'm sure I'm gonna portray your heritage in a good light. I mean, why are you even worried? You sound nervous.
No, I'm not nervous at all.
Oh, good.
Why would I be concerned?
Not at all. Oh, not because of things on the soundboard like
A knitter.
whoa,
Gawk. May.
no.
Me and the boys are educated.
That was actually the one. Oh, I like this one.
Come pig.
That was it gets stuck in my head. I say that like out loud a lot.
Come pig.
It's so whimsical the way you say it. I don't know why you're so lighthearted about it. I probably started a number of shows with that. I hit that a lot. So it's funny you said something about Bibi because I had a question sort of related to Israel. I'm getting somewhere with this.
Okay.
Spoiled it actually, but I think it's still going to be okay.
Okay.
Trump derangement syndrome, right? TDS.
Yes.
What is that?
That's when you take offense to everything that Trump does just because he's Trump, as opposed to looking at it.
Oh, that's one person's way of saying it. Yeah,
Sure.
or it's like if you care to point out anything that Trump does, and then when someone moves the goalposts on you, you stick to the point that you're initially making. That's that you can dismiss that by calling it Trump derangement syndrome,
Right.
TDS for short. You ever notice how like there's some conservatives get really, really triggered over Bernie?
I have noticed that.
Like
yes.
there was a guy in a DM that was like, he said I said something about Bernie that was like sort of neutral, and he's like, I fucking hate that guy, and I knew this guy's like an ultra conservative, and I was like, well, you know, I don't agree with all his policies, but you got to admit, like, he's someone that really believes. Unlike most political creatures, I think he believes what he was saying, and you know, I would probably have more faith in somebody like that being in power than someone that I think is just a complete bullshitter. And he's just like, his response was something like, he would, once he was in power, he would put people's heads against the wall. I'm like, Bernie? This same guy, are you sure? Mittens?
Yeah.
Old Mittens Bernie? Like, I don't think so. So I was like, in my head, I was like, man, this guy's getting real triggered over Bernie. Almost like he has a Bernie derangement syndrome.
Oh, BDS.
Oh, whoa, I don't think you're supposed to say that, Alan.
Boycott.
You're anti-Semite, remember? If you say BDS, explain.
Boycott, divest, and what was the S for?
Oh shit.
Boycott, divest, and
sanction.
No, was it sanction? Maybe
that is.
Okay. So that was the strategy that people had to protest against Israel.
And what do they call the movement?
BDS.
The BDS movement, which you can abbreviate further with BDSM. So you've learned it here that BDSM is anti-Semitic. All right, I'm going to play you an opening sound about it. Alan's wait, hold on. If we're talking about, you know what? I wish I was ready for it. Way gave a pronouncer for Puerto Rico earlier. Here.
Oh,
I think Puerto Rico comes up in the show.
I can't hear anything.
No, you can't hear it?
No.
You wait Justin long enough. Like,
Damn it.
it's not, I was about to say it's not your fault, but it is. Did you like that turn and look?
I
This is
did. I did.
all-
Yeah.
All right.
It's nicely done.
There
we go.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Alan. Yeah, I'm blaming my bad driving on the passenger. I have one where Way gave a pronouncer. Oh, that was for that. Oh, here it is. I'll get this ready.
Puerto Rico.
Hey, it's not bad.
It's not bad. I feel like he's doing a Trump impression though, right?
A little bit, yes, definitely.
Oh,
Throw some paper towels at people.
Yeah. It's Dave and Buster's. All right, I'm gonna play this fucking sound, Alan. We'll start a show.
Let's do it.
I'm so tired of people saying that you can't trust Puerto Ricans. They were next to Epstein's Island the whole time and didn't say a peep. I'm so.
Let me in his damn house.
Should we hit record?
Yeah, 1,
Alan's
2,
just
3.
shaking his head. This por la gente, Alan.
I am ready.
Oh my god.
Are you recording?
I don't even know what those words mean. Yes. All right. Well, you want to start a show?
Let's start a show.
That podcast is filling your head with garbage.
No offense taken there.
Well, it sounds like none taken.
Welcome to episode number 247 of Not Taken, the internet's only debate and current events show with your hosts Dustin and Alan. Shout out to Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band for use of their song Ways and Means for intro music. Thank you for joining us. Time of this recording, it is Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. It's a great day for America. We are two coastal elites coming to you from the shores of the mighty Cumberland in Madison, Tennessee, all the way to the Pacific waters of El Cerrito, California. Here to recap another week, current events, and sharing way too much of our tragic personal lives. So we're taking a sledgehammer to the culture war echo chambers. Please subscribe right now wherever you're listening to this. It's going to come up in a minute, so I'll save it for there. But we could use your help with the review sites. So if you're on Apple reviews, just go to the podcast. There's a place to review it there. Same thing on Spotify. It helps us become more relevant to people in the feed and stay relevant.
Gotta stay relevant.
And you can find None Taken on all social media apps. You know that. I like to DM you over on Instagram more than anything else. Every once in a while, I find like a week-old Twitter notification. I'm like, oh, fuck. You must only be here. And you can support the show by, I'm going to curveball you out. Support the show by joining the show's Patreon over at trumpgags.com, trumpgags.com/Patreon, or it gets you to the Patreon. You can go to patreon.com and look for the None Taken podcast and find the one with the zebra logo, but just go to trumpgags.com. You can join the Patreon, $3 a month. $3 a month is the lowest level, all the way up to $19, which I will wash your car. You have to come here, but I will wash your car. So you get free car wash. It basically pays for itself.
Totally.
Alan, you have any other things to talk about there?
FungibleNonetakens.com for our merch. Also support the people that support us. SlickItsDigital.com for all your SEO and marketing needs. SlickItsDigital.com.
Alan,
what is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Hope you all having a good week. I didn't get up to a whole lot this last week.
anything interesting like that unexpected customer service moment you dropped on us? You're like, I hung out with Tim. We went to the same bar we always go to. No, you were like, no, it was sunny. It was raining. It was sunny. But then you're like, oh yeah, I had the weirdest fucking thing happen at the grocery store.
Nothing notable as that. No,
Yeah.
that was quite the interaction that you can hear all
That
about
was
that
pretty
in our
wild,
last
yeah.
episode. Yeah. No, don't just kind of chilling. Yeah, it's. I don't like daylight savings time, even though I'm not.
No. I like daylight savings time.
I just
Daylight
don't like
saving time.
Yeah, I don't like the whole going back and forth.
I don't
Here
like.
we are.
I don't like the switch because because I'm still used to going to bed later,
Yes,
and then I have to wake up earlier. So it gets you
Yeah.
on both ends, Alan.
it's so to speak. Do
Mhm.
you feed your dogs on a regular
Oh,
schedule?
when this time changes, we feed them a little about an hour later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try to get away with it as much as we can.
Right. Got it.
But they
Yeah, 'cause
figure
they
it
get
out.
used to that schedule.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're like, why are I mean, I'll
Where's-
take it
where's my
early,
food?
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my food?
Yeah. Oh my God. Jack just barks and barks. I mean, we're talking about personal life. That's a dog story as an update. We the dogs have been rehomed.
Oh,
They've
nice.
been matched with homes. One
Are
of
they
them
going
not.
together or
No,
separate?
they're going to separate. But I
Ah.
think they'll be good
They'll
apart.
be all right. Yeah.
And they're going to families, so they'll be happy
Oh,
apart.
that's great.
Or they'll be happy where they are, even though they're
Yeah.
apart. They've gotten more independent in the time we've had them.
Mhm.
She is going to go to an retired FBI guy that likes to hunt, and like she's so obsessed with birds. I mean, she's an angel, except she breaks out of the backyard trying to
Right.
get birds. Like
Right.
like I look at her like staring up, and then next thing you know, she's hopping the fence. It's like, okay, yeah, shouldn't have been a hawk there. So yeah, he's gonna take her hunting. She's gonna be fucking perfect for it. And
Awesome.
Jack is supposed to be going to a house in outside Atlanta, and they have chickens. In which case, we could not give them Jolene because of see earlier with
There'd
birds.
be an issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when's that all scheduled to
This
happen?
weekend, supposedly. The
wow.
Atlanta one is still kind of on the fence, so we might.
How long have you had them now?
3 months. I got my yeah.
Damn, it's been that long. Okay.
Yep, New Year's Day. So 3.5 months. Good Lord.
Wow.
It's a lot of dog food we paid for. Tell you that much, Alan.
Yeah,
A
I
lot of
imagine
dog
so.
food. A lot of fencing I put up.
A lot of
A lot of fencing.
yes.
I forgot to mention this when you talked about fungiblenuntakens.com to buy the show merch. We did finally update. You guys asked for them, so you better be fucking buying them. We put the zebra dick logo on a shirt.
Nice.
Yeah. And it says podcast on the dick. It's not just a zebra dick. That'd be weird. Some people ask me, they're like, well, what's that logo? I was like, oh, it's a podcast I like because I don't want to talk about it in my show because I'm fucking borderline Gen X. Can't fucking
You can't
promote myself.
promote yourself. Yeah.
Then I'd be selling out, Alan.
God damn it. Be a sellout.
Even though I have a fucking Patreon, right? So yeah, people are like, what's that logo? I just say that, but it's like, if you don't want to have to answer that question, it's right there on the dick
It's right there on the dick.
podcast. You can buy the shirt.
Which is
That's
where it
actually, the phrase. It's right there on the dick.
That's
Can't believe we could work.
where
it
else
into
would you
another
put it?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I had a weird customer service moment. Actually, we'll keep that going. I
Okay.
was at Home Depot and I was going at the customer service desk. I needed to get a receipt reprinted. And I walk up and how the Home Depot's customer service desk is somewhat ambiguous because there's the store side and like the walk-in side.
They almost do that intentionally. I
Yeah,
think.
and they station people up all over. So you never really know who's open,
Right.
It's kind of like a parts house counter for my line of work.
Mm.
So I walk up and there's a lady with a customer and there's no line and there's a guy who's sort of milling around and he's kind of near a cash register. And I'm like, I sort of look at him and he looks at me. He doesn't break eye contact with me. He stares at me. He sees me.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, good.
He acknowledges your presence. Yes.
Well, sort of. But then I sort of look at this is going to be tough to do over the phone or over the podcast. But I look at him and I start to like pantomime, like, "Are you open?"
Mhm.
Or I sort of say like, "Are you?"
Can I-
And he goes, "I work here," and nods. I'm like, but he says nothing else. So he just nods and goes, "I work here." Yes. It's like, all right. How do I make you say, how can I help you?
Right.
You say, how can I help you? Ooh, this is so weird because I've been on the other side of him. Like, tell him, how can he help you? Fucking new idiot. So this stare down just begins and just waiting for a how can I help you to come out. And it was so fucking weird. And finally I was like, can you print? I need a receipt printed. And this other lady's like, I know how to do that. She looked at me. She's like, he's not normally in the front of the store. He could help you, but he shouldn't. Don't worry, I'll help you. But it was again, these fucking like these people that have no business being in a customer facing position,
Did you get any impression that perhaps he might have been on a spectrum of
Yeah,
something?
so am I. So like, who
Right.
cares? I asked
You're like-
after that. So okay, we're gonna get to the fucking review.
Yeah.
Alan's comedy segment addresses something we got a bad review
That's where we need you to go to.
And we've had like 5 stars always forever.
yeah.
and whatever.
Well, except
Yes.
one from my fucking ex-girlfriend.
Except for
yeah,
except for that one.
and now this guy.
Right,
and
right.
we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it there, but we need your help because of that. And it has to do with something we're tiptoeing around, but the comedy clip will set it up. So we'll
I'll
just
explain
leave
it,
that there for now. So what? Dogs night. We went to a goth night because a bunch of friends. One of our friends organized us all going there, and then the entire time she was like in a neighboring city, so she didn't go, and we went. It was fine. It was cool. Guess what I wore for goth night?
I was just gonna ask, what did you?
Only I don't have. It turns out I don't have all black. I don't even have black jeans, so I wore blue jeans with black boots. I wore my I Love the Theater John Wilkes Booth T-shirt, and the only black jacket I have is like a H-Bar-C like Western wear jacket, but it's all black with some white trimming.
Did you do anything eyeshadow or?
No. If other people were going, maybe, but it was just, it was fun people watching.
How
I'm not going to talk about that.
At the event?
Yeah.
Was there a lot of people?
You know what? It was 18 and up, so it was a little.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different colored wristbands, and then you're just like, these are babies.
I don't remember. Was it Brido's podcast? Somebody was talking about like how goth is too easy now that Hot Topic's there. People can just be goth.
Yeah, that was recently. That was last week's. I remember I was at work. Yeah, it was last week's. Brido.
Yeah.
Last week's hunk. Well, speaking of comedy, do you want to
let's do it?
Okay, so as is tradition, we will start a comedy segment with a submission from Young Thrash Lad. This is TJ Miller doing some crowd work and talking about cargo pants. We don't like crowd work, but TJ's different, and he's been doing this for a while.
You're wearing cargo pants. What kind of cargo are you rolling with? What are you carrying? What's your freight?
I just enjoy cargo pants like all the time. So even though I do not carry.
Jesus fucking Christ, Alan! I just realized the other clip we have coming up.
Yeah, I was
unaware. I was unaware. Okay, so the guy in the audience, if it's not obvious because there are some hand gestures that make it more obvious if you can see it, he has some sort of mental disability.
Anything here in the pocket, but I just enjoy it.
This is a sweet answer. I actually like that response. I was like,
the pockets.
Yeah.
I want you guys to know that I am not going to make fun of him at all. So there was definitely a moment where I was like, this is just going to be a listening portion of the show. We're all going to take a moment to just learn about this gentleman's life. And then we're going to move on to the next part of the show. But not before complimenting him and saying, you know what? I like wearing things just because they feel comfortable also. You're wearing
good person. Good.
That was sweet.
You know what? You don't hear a lot of nice guy TJ Miller stories. Also,
no, you
so I'm happy to hear that too. If I ever get a chance to meet him, I hope I get to tell him my favorite TJ joke. He's going to look at me and be like, yeah, it's not funny. I've heard it a lot. But it's he was my favorite actor in Cloverfield. For people who don't know, in the movie Cloverfield, TJ Miller's character is the guy holding the camera. And spoiler alert, there are very few selfies. All right. It was before that phenomenon. It was like right at the cusp of it. Cloverfield, underrated movie. Maybe overrated. Sparked that whole career, didn't it?
Kind of did.
Yeah. Is that Abrams? Yeah, I think it was. Okay, so who is this? This is Paul sent this in. This is daylight saving time. It's not daylight savings. It's daylight saving time. It's the time where you're saving daylight. Okay, anyways.
But daylight savings time is, to me, proof that it is more important how you ask people to do something than what you ask them to do. Because if the president of the United States got up and said, listen, everyone's going to have to go to work 1 hour earlier. If you get there at 8, you're going to have to be there at 7. If you get there at 7, you're going to have to be there at 6. If you get there at 6, I don't care, you're going to have to be there at 5. Your kids are going to have to go to school earlier. They're going to be grumpy, and I don't care. That's just the way it's going to be. No one would agree to that. There would be riots in the streets. But instead, he's like, hey, you know what? That was a stupid idea. We're not going to do that. Instead, we're just going to have you move your clock ahead 1 hour. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, sure. That sounds like we might be saving some daylight, huh?
Yeah. It's timely. This is the
very
only
timely.
week we can really play that joke.
Really, yeah. This once a year you can do
Slickett sent this in. I remember liking it. I don't remember anything about it. Oh, Shark Bay. This is great. So Aussie humor for you.
I grew up in a place called Shark Bay. Shark with an R.
Listen to him say, I wish I could rewind it on Instagram. Shark. He goes from shock to shark. Also, shout out to Dingo for listening to the show. I didn't know Dingo actually listened to the show. Follow Dirty Dingo on Instagram. If you like Cody with from well, let's just say Cody. If you like Cody from being on the show, then you're definitely like Dingo, but more Aussie.
Okay, I don't pronounce my R's, okay? I don't have time. When I was a teenager, the local government realised that no tourists were coming to the area for obvious reasons, so they changed the name to Safety Beach. What the fuck? That's the complete opposite of Shark Bay. They did nothing to improve safety. There's sharks there, a lot of them. And now they're just luring tourists into a death trap, basically. Yeah, nah, come in. Nah, it's Safety Beach. It's totally fine. Yeah. Ooh, oh, no, that's not a shark. That's a safety shark. It's a dolphin, you pussy. Get out there. I grew up...
How do I play? I want to do this one. If I had...
I'm a cunt.
It's an Iceland, Greenland sort of situation.
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, it could be Safety Beach at Shark Bay, right?
Sure.
Like, look, we're not being misleading. Do not get in the water. The safety is at the beach.
The safety's on the sand part.
Yeah, exactly. Nameless sent this in. This is ADHD Justice. I like this.
One of the symptoms of ADHD that they list is a strong sense of justice.
This is Jarrett Moore.
It's a psychiatric condition in America. They're like, what the fuck? He notices right and wrong. He's some new type of retarded. We've never seen this before. We need to give him meth every day until he's normal and doesn't give a fuck about anything. One of the
That's exactly what I lived through. Yeah, just give me low levels of meth. It says it on the fucking prescription. Methamphetamine salts. Oh, excuse me. Amphetamine salts. It's not methamphetamine. A little bit. It's slightly back from there. Just slightly.
Yeah, it's close enough. Man, there seems to be a theme here.
It was unintentional.
I know.
This is just what was submitted. This one, don't worry, Alan. We won't be ableist anymore. This lady's going to be racist.
Okay. Gotcha.
Hi, honey. What kind of Asian are you?
Okay, racist.
Oh, she's a fancy Asian. She's like, I'm from Singapore. We speak English. They are fancy. The Singaporean people, they are technically Chinese in a fancy outfit, but they think they are Singaporean. Any Filipino here? See, they are quiet because they know they are not Asians.
Filipinos always being like, we're not Asian, until Stop Asian Hate started being a hashtag, and they're like, lump us in, please.
Filipino.
Sorry, it's too early for social commentary.
You are not Asians. You are Mexicans acting Chinese. But I hate to say it, Filipinas, they are so fucking gorgeous. They are so pretty. The Filipinas, they took all the beauty queen titles. Miss World, Miss Universe, they took all the titles. I've never seen any Miss Korea, Miss China. It's just not fair. The Filipinas, they took all the beauty queen titles. The Filipino ladies, they only do 2 jobs.
Guys, she keeps going down that rabbit hole because she's trying to figure out where she's going from that. And then somebody walks and she sort of makes fun of the lady for walking. But I forgot it didn't really go anywhere else. I did have a pronouncer from this that Wei sent us in. For her name.
Jiao Ying.
I just like hearing him talk. It's weird.
Hit it one more time.
It's a weird way to say that, wasn't it?
I
like hearing him talk.
Jiao Ying.
Jiao Ying.
Jiao Ying.
Jiao Ying.
Jiao Ying.
Jiao. It's like that JCH sound, like in this one.
Right, yeah. Chank.
Right?
Chank.
You're getting there. One of these days you'll pronounce that name right.
I practice daily.
I'm the guy from the Young Turks. Yeah, I do my saxophone practice, and Alan's like, Jank Uger. It's so easy. It's not hard.
That's what I said.
It's not. Is that what that sounded like? Okay. You weren't saying what that sounds like. I will say that for the record. So if you weren't, that's not how you.
Chink.
That's not jank. Jank.
I was trying.
I get you're trying. Then you said this.
Chinks in their armor.
I don't know why you said that.
All right. I have a name for her. Can I come up with a different name?
Sure, perhaps.
It's
Are we
a
getting
pun.
another negative review for it?
Maybe. Have you? Well, so she's doing that insult comedy thing, right? Like going around the.
Oh
room?
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So how about Don Wickles?
Oh.
Do you get it?
I think so.
Because it's like an RL and a W.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, you get it. It's how she would say it. I thought that was how you're supposed to do that.
There's levels to that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a deep one. All right, I'm gonna play the clip Alan said, and you can tell I'm a little bit antsy. I got ants in my pants.
Same.
So, should I read the review on the show?
Yeah, I think
Should I
that.
do it before we play this?
I
I have
think
no
so.
idea where it's more appropriate.
I think before would be more appropriate.
Okay. Well, I wasn't. Hold on, I got to go
Prepared.
to my screenshots. Nope, that's not it. And I got a lot of screenshots. Okay, it's after that.
I'm trying to find it too.
No, it's before that.
Guess it's not on Instagram.
I thought it was in my screenshots. Oh, it's in my downloads.
Oh.
And I got a lot of my downloads. It's not in my downloads. You know what? Hold on. Why am I making this difficult? Just go to the fucking reviews page. All right.
You must. Okay, you got it.
Yeah, it's the fucking negative review on our review. Well, see all. They can remain nameless. I don't actually mean to be mean here. Reprehensible language. I decided to give these guys a chance after hearing their ads on Hunk with Mike Bridenstine. Unfair to associate him with a negative review. That's actually my biggest argument and complaint with this person. I will say before you hear the rest of this, I agree with them in terms of whether they should still listen to the show. I don't know that I'd go and leave this review, but that's fine. I won't be petty in that way. But don't drag Mike into this. That's not fair.
Yeah. Don't do
It started off good, compliment, but then the host dropped the R word. I have not said anything about sexual assault. Yeah, I don't like. I said that rapist moment. Maybe they meant something else.
Perhaps it was that.
And I couldn't believe they were using it. I'm not trying to culture police them. Okay,
but you kind of are.
Yeah, I actually. That's fine. I don't believe you, but fine for saying that. I'm not trying to culture police them, but there has been so much focus on advancing how people with disabilities are viewed, and I expected better from them. As a parent of a child on the autism spectrum, I think he just called his son retarded. I am disappointed that they would feel the need to use such hurtful language. Do better, guys. How am I not supposed to hear him say that the reason he's especially upset is because of his son and not think that he's like if his son was listening, wouldn't he be like, hey man, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
why are you dragging me into this? But and look, I don't make the fucking rules, but if there's a spectrum of neuroatypicality, ADHD, especially my form, is somewhere on it. And I wasn't so sure I'd say that before until Friday after this review. I was talking to Natasha about it. I was like, I don't know. Like, am I like on the spec? I didn't even finish it. She's like, yes, you're definitely somewhere on the spectrum. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, thank you. I don't know why you said it with that tone, but
she was way too confident about that.
Yeah. I was like, hey, remember I got taken out of class with like other people so I could like learn for like.
And when, we don't throw that word around on the show.
It's certainly not like as okay.
It's not. And when we do it, it's because it's funny,
or it's in a way where it's like we expect you to understand that like a bigger person is like this is not it I may say it like that's dumb sometimes, but only when that's like it's appropriate satirically almost, right?
Yes. And often we're self-deprecating as well. Yes.
But I will say this. I'm glad they don't make themselves listen to our show. I don't think we're a show for them. We do a show about like having an open enough mind to not be the show's called None Taken.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. It's called None Fucking Taken, dude.
Maybe we need to be clearer in the ad.
I think it's pretty clear what we do here. I think
okay.
All
right. Well,
I hate that Bridal got dragged into that.
I do too. Have you talked to him about it? Does he know?
No, I'm afraid to.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't want to.
wondering too.
Yeah, I like our show being.
I know.
Same. I do know that. Like, okay, how do I say this without saying that he's very careful with what he says, and
yeah, but he also is a comedian, and he understands, you know.
I know things that he thinks are funny, and I know things that I don't know if he would say the same jokes, but he would laugh at. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
And that's not to say that he would like say. I'm not saying he's like, oh yeah, by the way, Dustin, I love the word retarded. I say it all the time.
No, that's not.
No, but like he's careful for a reason. He's working in Hollywood.
He's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, this is how you set up a fucking comedy clip.
Oh God. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Fucking ponderous, man.
Ponderous. I didn't unmute it. Now I got to reload it. Now who's no?
I have autism. Let's hear it for autism.
The crowd yells and he turns and shrieks and like an overwhelmed.
Yes. Just play it up. Yes.
I do say retard. I think that it's my word. I have a doctor's note. You know, I don't know. What are you gonna do? You gonna beat me up? Good luck. I'm one of the strong ones.
Oh.
The first thing I did after I got diagnosed, I gave all my friends the R-word pass. I was like, you can say it. It's chill. You know, because I share my word. Yeah, some people don't share their word. Some people are real stingy with their word. Yeah, I don't want to point any fingers or fingers, but.
Oh boy, let's get into our segment of the show. Moving right along. Let's finish that story that Norm was telling last week when he was talking about the little people in Hollywood.
Oh, yes.
And he was like, no midgets, well, listen to last week. That makes sense. Now we got another bad review.
These two midgets, man, they were the funniest dudes. And one of them was telling me that him and his buddy decided to get a couple of prostitutes, because midgets, they can't have sex very much with the women, The one midget, he gets the prostitute and he wants to have sex with her, but he'd been drinking a lot, so he had trouble like performing,
Yes, I know.
Right. So, yeah.
Okay.
So she leaves, and then he's feeling all bad, so he listens with a glass to the next room where his buddy is with his prostitute.
Right.
And he hears, like, in the next room, he hears, 1, 2, ah! 1, 2, ah! 1, 2, ah! 1, 2, ah!
Right.
1, 2, ah!
Right. Stop doing it.
Yeah. So he goes, oh, that dirty midget's having some fun sex over there, So
he calls him a midget too,
yeah.
But he's a all right. Whatever.
So he feels bad,
Right.
And the next day, man, he meets his buddy midget at the coffee shop. He goes, and the guy goes, hey, man, how'd it go last night? And the one guy goes, oh, man, it was horrible, I was too drunk. I couldn't perform with my prostitute. He goes, but it sounds like you had a good time. And then the other guy, midget, goes, what, are you kidding? I couldn't even get up into the bed. These two.
How about that, indeed? That was
a long comedy segment with a very specific theme. How can we upset people to start the show? It's easy. We started with anti-Semitism and BDSM.
Yeah.
Is BB gay? All right. Well, thank you guys for liking us.
That was nearly the Aristocrats. I mean, that was
a
long way to go. Long way to go.
1, 2. All right. I don't even. NASCOM has a new post, and I love these NASCOM.
We've got much more to come.
This is where drivers get busted.
What did you think about what you saw of that?
That's as good of a finish as you can get.
I'm gonna put my head down and just and take it all in.
We see him move forward. It's just so tight. He's gonna try and stay out of the way, but he said, "No, I gotta come." This is a tough one. Here they come.
Hey, leaders are all coming.
Look, it's doing the Trump dance hand gesture. It's always a great follow.
Do not come.
Love the NASCOM page. It's too. I don't know what page that soundboard piece is. Okay, we already said Way saying Puerto Rico. Oh, wow, this is a fucking.
Oh, this is quite a turn.
Should we save it? Let's save it.
I don't think
save it for another time. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll move it up here. You know what? I'll put it right here. See how it goes.
Okay.
I got Alan Don't Look or Theo Von. Do you want to hear every Theo Von story first?
Sure.
Okay, so this is an example of every Theo Von story.
See, I knew this Polish gentleman. They're kind of like Russia's Canadians, you know. He told me he went to this sex party, a fellatio shindig, like a dinner party, but the dinner is 100% vulva. That imagery struck me, dude. It hog-tied my imaginatory.
Oh, you get it. Okay,
funny.
and that kind of pairs well with this. Speaking of stepping on it and saying weird things, here is.
Oh, I love this clip. I used to love me some Regis and Kelly. They always.
I
talked about
loved
John and Mike.
Regis. I only
Yeah.
watched Regis and Kelly for Regis, though.
For
right?
Regis, yes.
Because
absolutely.
afterwards it was Kelly, and she got to pick her new co-host. It's like nobody was here for you. We were all here for Old Man Regis.
I think that we kind of got that because of Don and Mike, though, because they were always on that.
Well,
they
I
were
don't
always
think
pretty
I'd like
close.
anything about that show if they didn't make me like Regis.
Sure. Yes.
This is a classic Regis. He would say it was great to watch because he was an old man.
Yeah,
50
curmudgeon-y.
years ago.
Yeah.
And like he just kept getting older, and they kept letting him be live on TV and saying things. So he said old man things like
We
this.
finished taping Password, and the last two guests, celebrity guests, were one of your favorites, Neil Patrick Harris,
Oh, my
who
beloved
incidentally
Neil.
is very, very bright.
He's
and
a genius.
very suited for this game. You know,
Yes.
I had never met.
You've never met Neil?
I pulled
No,
a bone.
you've met
no,
Neil.
no. Of course I met
Okay.
Neil, but I pulled a boner.
Oh, okay. Should we play more of Reed? It's just him.
I did it again. I said, so yeah, for the first.
Made a mistake.
Kelly's making a big deal about it.
Yeah. I mean, that was the whole thing. That was her reacting to him saying crazy shit like that.
Yes.
That was part of the fun.
Yeah, and you'd tune in every day because there was some version of that every fucking day.
Almost every day. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do an Alan. Don't look. Don't look.
Okay. Not looking.
Don't look. Okay, you're gonna guess this sound, and then I'll let you see it, and you're gonna lose your mind. Don't even look, Alan. Don't.
I'm not
look.
looking. I'm not looking.
You want one more time?
Sure. One more time. Sounds like somebody trying to scare off a bear or something.
Yeah, sounds like a person trying to scare off a wild animal.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you ready to watch?
I'm ready.
It's a fucking mountain lion.
Holy
Look at the
shit.
athleticism. He's bounding like 20 feet at a time across a little. So there's this tiny little slot canyon that a
Yeah.
guy's stuck in, and somebody's up higher filming down into it, and they're just stuck there with this mountain lion. And the mountain lion's freaking out. The mountain lion doesn't seem to want to attack them, but he's trying to get away and scare them all at the same time.
Yeah.
Bouncing around this whole canyon. Al Pacino, the cat.
That's terrifying.
How about that? It is terrifying.
about
Imagine if you're getting eaten alive by a mountain lion. He's just like, wait ass.
You got your head all the way up it.
This is there's a new dog breed out there, and people
Oh.
can't set it straight whether what it's at, what you call this breed.
Okay.
What they call it.
Section. Seems there's a lot of controversy on whether or not a Dachshund Golden Retriever cross should be called a Golden Wiener or a Wiener Retriever. Like your
Like your mom. Not you, but listener.
A wiener retriever.
Oh, about that. I got a Post Malone clip. Oh, dude, check this out. This is a quick hitter. Look at this. Is like Post Malone's first video.
You said you loved me just moments before. Why'd you lie? What the heck?
Oh, what the heck? Edgy over there, Post.
Our love was as hot as it soared, but you couldn't take it anymore. Why don't you love me?
Wow. It's so weird seeing him without face tattoos.
Yes, yeah. I thought you were gonna say without facial hair. I'm like, no, we really did. You're gay.
When Post Malone first kind of entered the music scene, I was kind of thought he was kind of hack and not very good. But you realize now he really has some talent. Like,
Do you know what's so funny? You are fulfilling something that I've been waiting for someone to say. I didn't think it'd be my friend on my podcast.
Okay.
So did you feel like you had that arc with like Lady Gaga?
Oh.
Where it was like, I have to hear this song because I'm at work. Fuck you. Right?
Yeah, right.
And then you're like, oh, you're kind of like an artist. Like there's more to this, but you don't like, you definitely present well on like the pop charts, but you're something else. Like,
yeah. I mean, you see the packaging first and then you realize, oh, there's actually some depth there.
So I always thought it sounded weird. I've been saying this for like 5 or 6 years. I've been like, it's hard to believe to compare him in this way, but I think over a long enough time period, the Lady Gaga comparison won't be that weird. He's just got to win an Oscar, Alan.
There you go. Do a Star is Born.
Right. There's a couple of guys and lost.
Oh my God, I'm so fucking sick of hearing this shit. America doesn't have a walkable cities. Yeah, no shit.
Walkable cities. I've got a million memes sent to me. Whenever this happens, I love, one thing I love about doing the show is so many different people send things in. You can really see when like a trend is spiking. And sometimes you're almost like, is this a coordinated thing? Like, why on earth right now are we being bombarded about walkable cities from like every different meme format and from like news stories to jokes, you know?
This is what it feels like to be Google, I imagine. Like
if Google were a thing.
Yes.
We're a huge fucking country, and most of our country was developed after the invention of the automobile. Now, in Europe, you guys were riding donkeys from your village to the next village over to go fuck your cousin for thousands of years. But here in America, most of our nation was developed after we already had fucking cars. And we are a huge country. Now, in the video,
it's going to get into a whole thing about the size difference between the U.S. versus like France and Europe and stuff like that. I think it's a little bit boring, but yeah, I wish we had more walkable cities at times too. But I also totally understand why we don't. And
yeah, I agree. I remember what was it? What's that? Fairfax, Virginia. People talking about how that was just designed for cars and like how it didn't really work for people to walk around at all.
Yeah.
I know this is a topic that Thrash cares a lot about, actually.
Oh, yeah. But I also think he agrees. I'm not listening to a European tell me shit.
Fuck that.
Okay, this is a lady in the drunk tank.
You're not on drugs? You're kidding, right? Do I look that stupid?
I'll take a fucking piss on your face.
Piss on your face.
Ooh, how about that? Quite aggressive. How about that, indeed?
All right. Lindsay and Brittany, like all in one, right there.
There's kind of frighteningly attractive, I would say.
Kryptonite, man.
Gotta
get away.
Run.
Alan, can you guess Utah's state bird?
Yes. It's
quick
pigeon. I don't know.
Okay.
Ask this.
Okay. What is the state bird?
It's a seagull.
There's no sea.
Oh, it's an old myth, an old story from the Mormons. When they came in first, they like planted a big harvest and they were starving, and then the locusts were coming in to eat it all. And suddenly, and all the Mormons prayed to God to save them, and suddenly a massive flock of seagulls, not the band though, but a massive flock of seagulls came in and landed and ate all the locusts and saved all the people.
They told you it's true.
Then they stayed because they're God's messengers. So now they're the state bird.
And they thought I was lying.
How about that? That is fucking bizarre.
I mean, there's a large body of water in that state.
There is.
But they're fucking trash pigeons, right? Bin pigeons.
Bin pigeons.
Yeah.
yes. I was close when I said pigeons.
Yeah, you can say that's where I heard that from. Wait, aren't pigeons already bin pigeons?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. There's an Aussie thing where there's like a bird they call like bin something, and there's these birds like ibises or something. And they're like seagulls there, and they just like fight over trash juice out of the bottom of the trash bag and stuff. And it's just disgusting. And hearing people complain about it in an Aussie accent is hilarious. If anybody has a sound for that, send that in. I want to play it. Real quick. I love these guys. We played them before where they did like the debt crisis in Europe and who owes who money and stuff. So they're always kind of doing financial jokes. I think there are a couple of Aussies. This is probably a few years old, but we're picking stuff up from around the world.
Well, I'm a bank, Brian, and I borrow money and I lend it out, and I charge more to the people I'm lending it to than I pay to the people from whom I'm borrowing it.
Well, who do you borrow money from?
Well, from, depositors, Brian. Have you got $1?
Well, yeah,
I
sure.
borrow your $1 and I give you, there's your bank balance.
$1?
$1.
Right, okay, and you pay interest to me on that?
I do, but I also charge you fees.
Well, why do you charge me fees?
Because, Brian, I'm looking after your money. Your money is secure with me. I'm a bank.
I mean, this is a very important amount of money. This is probably your nest egg. It's safe with us.
And how much interest do you pay me?
Approximately the same as I'm charging you in fees.
Oh, good deal for me.
Well, your money's secure with us, Brian, and I then lend that money to businesses, and those businesses generate income. This is how we build an economy.
Yeah. And they put that income into the bank.
They do, of course, Brian, and that builds the savings pool, and we can invest more money.
Well, who do you lend that to?
Well, to people who need credit, Brian. You see, money creates more money, so if we can create money that creates more money, we're broadening the economy, we're expanding it all the time. Yes.
But shouldn't people just buy the can afford?
You don't need to afford the things you're buying, Brian. You need to afford the interest on the money you need to borrow in order to buy them.
Do people need to be buying these things that they can
Obviously,
afford?
they think so, Brian. I mean, these things are advertised to people as very necessary, very important, and deeply, deeply attractive.
Well, who's advertising things that people don't need?
The companies we're lending the money to. Well, I'm a bank.
Okay.
Oh, how about that? How about that, indeed?
Yeah, it's all a vicious circle. I've got a circle question. Is studying planetary orbits circular logic?
Sure.
Should have saved that one for an end of show.
Sure.
I kept it in my pocket. Oh, well. You know what? The next subject is the more heavier side of the show, anyways. So let's just play this here. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So it's a cool concept. We're gonna change gears and get into Isn't That Something, anyways. So start things off.
When someone is struggling or in need, all they need is 8 minutes from a friend to hold space with them to make them feel better. And so now we have a code word. When one of us is struggling, the text is, do you have 8 minutes? And that simply means, I need you. I'm going to cry.
There is no greater.
Okay. I think that's.
Yeah.
Is your
I came
testimonial
across
good? Should I play the rest of hers?
No, I think it's fine.
Okay.
I came across that. I thought it was really, really profound, actually. 8 minutes. That's all it takes.
And to be able to say it in a way where it's like, I'm not being that needy, you know, I'm
Right.
not, you know, because it's also hard to put it. It's hard to ask for help at times.
Yeah.
And to have a really easy way to do that is, and it's kind of profound. And, you know, call me crazy. I like being able to share that stuff here.
Same. Agreed.
All right. So let's move on into.
Isn't that something?
I've got a health insurance hack that I learned from was this the NPR's Up First podcast?
That this is a big, juicy target for hackers. Once the payment
I just read my note. Okay, I don't have a health insurance hack for you. This is a story about a health insurance hack. So they hacked a health insurance company, and it's having ripple effects throughout the economy, and it doesn't get a lot of reporting.
That this is a big, juicy target for hackers. Once the payment platform went down, the whole healthcare system was disrupted. I spoke to Douglas Hoy. He is the CEO of the National Community Pharmacists Association about all this. Listen to how he described it.
One of the biggest lessons learned from this situation is that when we put all of our eggs in one basket, when that basket tips over, all the eggs crack and there's none left. We're scrambled at that point.
What?
I don't know. It's a weird metaphor. Yeah.
Isn't that something?
I mean, some say that's how you make your omelet, but
I mean, some would argue, yes.
Next clip. Okay, so this one's a little bit of a deeper subject to get into. The concept he's talking about is eliminating property tax. I don't need to set it up. He talks plenty on it. You ready?
Right.
Now, this is interesting. I like the out-of-the-box thinking. Proposal to eliminate property taxes leaves homeowners divided. This would help more people get their foot in the door for first-time homebuyers, but there would be some setbacks. So let's take a $400,000 home in this country. The average property tax is going to be about $400 a month. So if you were to put down 20%, get a loan out at 7% interest rate, your principal and interest would be $2,129 plus $400 for property taxes plus $200 for homeowners insurance. So the total payment would be $2,700. So in this current example, you would need $82,000 of a salary with no debt to qualify for this home. However, if you eliminate property tax, now you would only need $70,000 to qualify for this home. That would open the door for many first-time homebuyers. But what's the negative? Well, if you get rid of property taxes fund schools, roads, firefighters, police officers.
I want to jump in there because it'll be untimely if I do it. He's going one direction with one thing that property tax does, and yes, it funds all of those things like schools, roads, fire departments, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also one of the only taxes that actually is an effective way of keeping rich people from fucking buying everything. Like if you do remove property tax, that will be one more thing making it less cost prohibitive to just buy property and sit on it. And then what are they going to do with that? They're going to turn it into an Airbnb. They're not going to fucking rent it, right? So now rent's going to go up because it's one less property that's available to actually rent, right? Unless you're talking about short-term rentals like Airbnb. So I think that would be a huge negative side effect to come from it. I love coming on here and talking about how much I love taxes, but like this is an effective tax on the rich, or at least it prevents rich people from just parking their money in more,
or at least slows them down a little bit.
It slows them down. It makes them pause, right?
Right.
If you removed that, I think it would be significant.
I mean, BlackRock's already doing what you're.
Yeah, right. Yes, but they're not a person. But yes,
right, correct. Yes.
But there's a whole other thing with that. You're right. But then, like he's saying though, all of those taxes that they wouldn't collect that fund things like schools and roads and fire departments, they're going to still need to fund that. And who do you think they're going to have to pay for that? They're going to put it on like a gas tax or some other thing that's going to probably more than likely affect people that can't afford
sales tax on your groceries, something like that.
Yeah.
EMTs and so many other things. So they'd have to figure out a way to replace that tax in some other form, whether it's sales tax or whatever. The other thing I do like about it, however, and this really frustrated me, this is so un-American. Do you know if you actually pay your house off, you no longer owe the bank, it's yours. If you don't pay your property taxes in perpetuity and you go a long time without paying them, the government can take your home and sell it. That to me is very un-American. So if we got rid of the property tax, that would solve that issue as well. However, there's a long way to go for this proposal to work its way across this country, but I'd love the out of the box thinking. Now this is
pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
That's something.
There's something.
you're like, who fucking cares? Like buying a house, whatever. Like, I'm in California.
Right.
This was a little heavy. Recession for most. Peter Zion.
Okay.
What do you say? Should we play it?
It's up to you.
That's 4.
Yeah, skip it.
He's basically saying that it's going to be a recession around the globe, or it is. Everybody's kind of in a recession right now. The UK is. A lot of countries around the globe are officially in a recession, and it's not for us, but it's probably eventually going to be very bad for all of us, and we'll just see if it continues to be marginally better here. So we'll see.
Okay.
Although if we go into one of our next topics after this, we are going to talk about State of the Union, where Biden says that we've had a better economy than the rest of the world. But before that, enough foreshadowing. Let's do this. New York City. This is a sort of hot topic right now.
New York City.
New York City, get a rope, has decided to. I mean, were you aware that there was? Like, I know that if you watch like conservative news, they're like, there's always violence. There's people, breaking into CVS's and, shoplifting on the rise and sideshows with cars and stuff. But were you aware that there was the New York City subway like especially more dangerous recently than I never really I've been on the New York subway and it was both sketchy and normal, kind of just the way I treat an American subway.
Smells like piss.
Sure. Yes. Oh yeah, it was hot.
Yeah.
I know that guy choked that guy last year because he was harassing him.
Oh, yes.
And has there been like a huge spike in things? I don't mean to be that ignorant to it, but the reason I'm asking is Katie Hochul, the mayor of New York, no, the governor of the state of New York, approved the National Guard to patrol and have checkpoints going into the subways, basically turning it into like TSA.
Right.
And, there's a somewhat appropriate response to that says, we have TSA at the airports. It's a transportation hub. Why would it surprise you? Maybe it's a good thing. To which I would say, right, because every time they test TSA fucking fails in amazing colors. However you fail with flying colors, TSA is constantly like, whenever they're tested, it's like, look at this bomb you let through, like a literal bomb,
or a knife or some sort of
but
I was not aware of any significant uptick in
me either
violent crime.
Yeah.
I think that even like people talk about San Francisco, how it's just degenerating into this.
There was always poop. People are like, there's dog shit and human shit on the street.
There
it's
was
like,
always.
Yeah. In 2003, I watched a guy shitting with his ass facing the street, facing.
Yeah.
Like, put it against the corner.
Yeah, I think more the difference now is that people have phones with cameras, and so it's easier to see that stuff.
That's a good point.
Perhaps we would have
That's an
20 years
interesting
ago.
take. Yeah, you're right. Which is also proof against aliens, right? Because you have all
Right.
and all this, there's always a
There's
grainy,
still-
quick little cell
It's
phone.
always blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me play the clip.
They're going to search bags?
So the host of like the Good Morning New York and Fox,
Okay.
on Fox in New York, is talking to Katie Hochul. This is the governor of New York responding, and they're so New York. They're gonna search bags. Hi, I'm a woman.
Randomly. Randomly.
There is a statistical.
What happens if you don't want your bag searched?
Then go home. We're not going to
Go
search
home.
you. You can say no, but you're not taking the subway.
Isn't that something?
Isn't that something indeed?
I think that would piss me the fuck off. Like, I think it'd be like, oh, well, then go home. It's like, well, I don't care to have my fucking property searched for no good reason. Like, you have not proven the reason why it's valuable for you to be here. But I don't know. I don't have to live in New York. Oh, I'll be there in November. By the way, New York heads will be there in November. I probably won't have time for you, but if you're really nice, we'll probably find a way to work it out.
I got to imagine somebody's going to bring a lawsuit about that. Like they're going to say you're violating
totally.
some
That's true.
rights.
I'm sure there already is one. That's a good
Probably.
point.
Yeah.
The page just refreshed for no damn reason. Okay, I found it. So okay, we watched the State of the Union as a show. We watched it live with our besties. But we haven't done a show since then.
Right.
I don't want to do too much of a recap of it, only because I feel like there's been enough political shows that kind of do. Although I am aware that we have a number of listeners that are like, no, I just kind of tune in here to get my news. So I'm not by all the bullshit everybody else uses. So let's touch on it a little bit. If you want to look into it more, I'm sure there's been plenty of memes for you. So this is Marjorie Taylor Greene plus commentary. I don't even know here. Hold on. Okay, so CNN talking about it.
And can you tell me why so many people that support Donald Trump love conspiracy theories, including yourself?
This does not belong here. I set this up poorly. I apologize. Come to think of it, I'm looking. I didn't put any recaps of the State of the Union, which I'm glad with. Here. Since I set it up, what was your opinion of the State of the Union? I'll share mine afterwards. I'd rather.
Sure. So I thought that it was better than expected. Like, it performed better than expected, probably. I thought that the back and forth between him and sort of the conservative Republican caucus was interesting. I thought he was trying to recreate that moment that he had the last State of the Union speech.
Oh, where he baited them to say that they cut Social Security and Medicare. He did the same one. It wasn't they did the same trick. He did the same trick with the same subject.
Yeah.
But then he also did it with a $2 trillion tax cut. So he did it twice, but one of the times was a repeat.
Yeah. I thought the speech was effective. And I thought, especially, I know we have Katie Britt coming up, comparing his speech to hers. He did pretty well, I thought.
That's it. Okay, so me, the true independent, that will, if gun to my head, vote for Joe Biden begrudgingly. But since I live in a supermajority, I'll vote for probably a third party just because
for funsies.
It won't matter here. You're gonna make me say this. God damn it. I thought that was a great speech for him.
Yeah,
Like,
it was.
I think that it was. Yes, it was a campaign speech. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, they've become campaign speeches.
That's what they are.
I agree. I wish it wasn't. I'm the one that doesn't like watching them. Alan insisted we watch this. God. But I thought that, Sleepy Joe, he got out there and he performed so well, he should deserve to be Scranton Joe again,
Yeah.
Just
chocolate chip ice cream.
Chocolate chip. I think I got a clip later in the second half where Fox accidentally has a campaign ad where they're like, he's a high energy Joe. It's Jolton Joe. It's like, why are you saying this? Like this goes against everything that you're trying to do. And I think he looked, first of all, it was Grandpa after bedtime. They didn't start until 9:30.
Oh, it was late.
It was supposed to start at 9. It started at 9:30 and went on for an hour.
Mhm.
Like
a little over an hour. Yeah.
Very few flubs, although they existed.
A couple. Yeah. Nothing major.
For a guy with a speech impediment, that's
and also he was able to go off script successfully.
Yes. Except he does that thing. So since they give the transcript of this, you can always see where his speech writers are over on the wings just cringing, like, don't do it. There was one point where he's trying to talk about like corporations and like things that are things.
The shrinkflation thing? Was that what
yes.
Yeah.
But before he insulted corporations for shrinkflation, he's like, look, I'm from Delaware. And that's probably what was in the script. And instead, he's like, I love big corporations. I'm from Delaware. It's like, God
damn it, Joe. Stick to what we fucking wrote. But you know what? He didn't step in it completely.
No.
He just said things that were like,
They put less Snickers in the Snickers. I mean,
there was a point though where I was like, I remember having a thought where I was like, I probably said it on the live stream. I was like, he's kind of nailing this. And then like a minute later, he's like, and I'm going to ban assault weapons. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Damn it. Like, you didn't have to. You didn't have to. Because he said like 3 things about guns he wanted to do. And 2 of them, most people would probably be
the background checks everybody would be fine with.
Yeah. And then he's just like, and we want to ban assault rifles. It's like, all right. And who does that gain you? Who was like, I'm such a progressive that I want all like I vote for Democrats and I want assault rifles banned. Like that's a 100% match, right? Like,
yeah,
like,
there's
you didn't bring anyone in. Like,
yeah, that was probably a politically not advantageous thing to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those single issue voters already overlapped, anyways.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty good. So this clip is not about that. This is before the State of the Union. A woman was a news reporter on CNN asked Marjorie Taylor Greene this.
He seems to attract lots of conspiracy theorists.
Well, let me tell you, you're a conspiracy theorist, and the left and the media spreads more conspiracy theories. We like the truth. We like supporting our Constitution, our freedoms, and America first. So,
what about Jewish space lasers? Tell us about Jewish space lasers.
No, why don't you go talk about Jewish space lasers? And really, why don't you off? How about that?
Thanks. Thank you very much.
Wow.
We got to do. How about that?
How about that, indeed.
It's not as good as.
Isn't that something?
Oh, how about that?
No, that's the dude. We can't get rid of the dude.
Indeed.
Why don't you
Gotta
go
have the
fuck
dude.
yourself? Is that what she said?
Yeah, that's what she said.
I bet she's fun at parties. Oh, speaking of someone who's not fun at parties, let's play the follow-up. So, Katie Britt. I was aware of who she was because she's one of the youngest and newest. She's a rookie. She's junior senator of Alabama. She is notorious, somewhat famous in her circles.
NOTORIO.
Yep.
You just lay down.
Lay down slow.
Yeah.
For being like a mama, like that. Her thing is like something mama.
She's like a housewife kind of thing.
No, like mama, mama senator mama. Like there's something like that. That's like kind of her. Like if she had an Instagram, or I'm sure she does. If she has any kind of a hashtag, like I promise you, she's like, I'm just a. You know what? It's Southern Mama, Alan. Don't Google that.
Okay.
Noted 2016 Montreal New Face, Southern Mama, the comedian.
Oh.
Started off her set with, so y'all fart? Which you'd laugh too. You'd hate yourself, but you'd be like,
you would laugh.
Fuck you for making me laugh at that. Don't ever do jokes like that again. You'd hate her afterwards, but you'd be like, oh, you got me with y'all fart. Anyways, Southern Mama. That's her. Katie Britt, Southern Mama.
Got it.
Southern Mama. So talk about what she did. So she did the rebuttal, and you summarize it. I have thoughts.
She did the rebuttal. She did it in her kitchen, apparently. The way
that doesn't come up. That was a meme that I put up. So she did it in her kitchen. Can we talk about that? Have you seen people talk about that? What are people saying about that?
That she was trying to play up the sort of housewife kind of.
Have you seen what Republican strategists say about what happens when they test group that, when they A/B group stuff like that?
I have not, no.
Oh, they say it fails like consistently. So Republicans any political strategy, any political campaign message at this level goes through campaign strategy like trials, right?
Sure.
And they or at least you have someone on staff that can know like that. We've tested that before. You can't do that. This is better.
Right.
Try
This
this.
doesn't work. Right.
When they put a woman in a kitchen, people are revolted. Female Republican voters are revolted by it. It drives away moderates, especially. And because it gives up imagery of women belong in the kitchen, and it in this time of women's reproductive rights being targeted is not the time to take a chance on that. And it just shows you how poorly guided the Republican Party is right now. And I'll remind you, because we don't have a sound for it, the Republican Party replaced their head of the RNC, the two heads of the RNC, one with a guy handpicked by Trump, and the other one, Trump's daughter-in-law.
Laura.
To which I say, fantastic. Like well-run organizations don't hire in that manner. So I think it's actually a good thing for anybody on the other side of that, independence or otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, so the whole thing just came across. It was so just the tone of voice that she used. She was very
Yes.
like
Breathy,
almost
ASMR-y,
breathy.
but-
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
it. Here. Let me play this and then you talk a little bit more because I don't want to play
Okay.
this whole thing. This is her voice she used for this is a normal voice. That's how she talks.
I didn't hear that.
Okay, hold on. This is good. Okay. Sorry.
Sure.
Share this tab instead.
There we go. Okay.
All right. So this is the way she sounded.
Are a disgrace. This crisis is despicable. And the truth is, it is almost entirely preventable. And thank you to all the gentlemen behind me who continue to work diligently to actually secure our border.
She can
That's
talk
what-
normally.
She
clearly.
can't talk like that. That was a stylistic choice to do this.
President Biden proudly proclaims that Bidenomics is
This is her speaking voice that she chose to use. Like she is good at what she's doing, and she made a stylistic failure.
Yeah, it was the whole thing felt like a train wreck. I mean, we're gonna get to some other details of the speech.
Oh, is it better if I do? You run
the
out of-
story she told about the sex trafficking.
Yes. Okay. So when I first saw this, I didn't know if it was going to blow up that well. So I put this whole clip in here, and I think this clip's too long. But this guy, Cats on Earth, he's got a good follow. KATZONEARTH. Cats on Earth shared this. Tennessee Holler shared his version of it. I should have put his version in. Here's just a minute of it.
You have no doubt seen this woman on your For You page at various points today. That is Senator Katie Britt, the junior senator from the state of Alabama, who delivered the Republican response to Joe Biden's State of the Union last night. It was weird, but the part that was the weirdest for me, the part that was the most off, was this.
When I took office, I took a different approach. I traveled to the Del Rio sector of Texas. That's where I spoke to a woman who shared her story with me.
Is there a region of Texas called Of the River?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Del Rio?
That's
weird.
She had been sex trafficked by the cartels starting at the age of 12.
So I immediately had questions.
All right, so I'm going to save us the rest of his video. I recommend you give him a follow. Cats on Earth with a K and a Z. It's right there for the Patreoners. I got a name for the Patreon people that are in the Patreon.
Okay, what you got?
Well, I asked Natasha, and she said people would not like to be called zebra dicks.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
I still feel like zebra.
Maybe just zebras.
Zebra heads.
There you go.
Hey, zebra heads. Welcome to the show. Yeah, that works.
So back to the story. So essentially, when she talked about this person who was sex trafficked, the way that she said it in her speech, it was sort of intimating that it happened under Biden's administration, and that she was referred to it as one of the problems with the border that this administration, she's saying, isn't addressing. This person, the story actually is real, but it happened in like 2004. Yeah, under the Bush administration, I want to say. And all the other facts don't make any sense. Now, she's come out and said, well, I said this happened when she was 12 years old and I called her a woman. So obviously I was saying it happened in the past.
The lady's not happy about it. The lady doesn't appreciate her telling her story.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Because I mean, she said she's been like, politicians just love to latch onto this and fucking politicize it rather than like talk about something that happened to me that's important for. She also said that. Well, hold on. I got a clip I think that addresses the things I'm saying. This is Katie Britt trying to clean that up.
Not presenting.
She had been sex trafficked by the cartels starting at the age of 12.
Did you mean to give the impression that this horrible story happened on President Biden's watch?
Listen to this.
No, Shannon, look, I very specifically said this is what President Biden did during his first 100 days.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
How is that a clarification? that you were talking about something that somebody told you that happened to them in 2004, and you're using now to talk about cartels, right? Right? Right?
Makes no sense.
He also, okay, so that does well to go with. Well, hold on. Let me play just a minute more.
She clearly got herself into a bit of a pickle there.
Okay, I didn't know that it was going to be fucking old.
Jen Psaki.
Yeah.
Can I just? I need 5 seconds. Give me one.
Yeah, I'm going to set this up.
Okay.
So, guys, how about that weather you got there, huh? Spring sure is weird, right? Is it cold? Is it going to be hot? Make up your mind, am I right? That fucking groundhog's full of shit, I'll tell you that much. See one of those groundhogs again. Hey, I wonder if one of Alan's neighbors fell down the stairs. Last time he had to leave for 5 seconds, he didn't come back, and I talked to James Fritz for like an hour while he cleaned up old man's blood. Hope he's still doing okay. Well, let's find out. Did one of your neighbors fall down the stairs?
No, sorry.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I'm good.
We'll never know.
I just had to take care of something real quick.
Oh. All right. Is there somebody else there?
No, it's just me.
Okay. All right, but you won't tell me. It's okay.
My stomach's a little problematic right now.
Oh God. Oh God. Can we finish the show?
Oh yeah, we can.
Are you gonna fall down the stairs?
No, I might have to take a couple of breaks though.
Okay, we'll take a break. You know what, Alan? I've been taking Fiber supplements.
Have you?
I've been having double tapered all day. It's been great.
Nice.
George Brett. I'll take your mind off of it. So this is the woman that she was talking about. She was telling the story of Carla Jacinto Romero. Ooh, I nailed it. With a reporter on CNN.
Years and years ago, you told me that you felt like at the beginning.
The woman is a not protester. What's the word?
Activist.
Activist. Yeah, doesn't start with a P. And yeah, this guy has talked to her before. This interviewer has talked to her before.
Mexican politicians had.
Again, she made it sound like she's like, I went to the Del Rio area and I talked to this lady next to the river and she told me this story about this. No, this is an activist there to talk to a politician. She doesn't like the way that you've misappropriated her story.
Taking advantage of you by using your story for political purposes. Do you feel like that happened once again here in the United States?
Yes. In fact, I hardly ever cooperate with politicians because it seems to me that they only want an image. They only want a photo. And that to me is not fair. Trabajo como vocera. I work as a spokesperson for many victims who have no voice, and I really would like them to be empathetic. All the governors, all the senators to be empathetic with the issue of human trafficking, because there are millions of girls and boys who disappear all the time. People who are really trafficked and abused, as she mentioned. And I think she should first take into account what really happens before telling a story of that magnitude.
I think it's a good place to stop it. I'm glad to get her voice and her take on this subject out there as she ever intended it to. This woman, Katie Britt, deserves zero attention. I think she's demonstrated that with the way that she holds herself on TV. Like, she's not compelling. She's not charismatic. She sounds like a fucking creep. And she appropriates people's terrible life events and to take advantage of them disgustingly for political advantage. I want this person's version of that to be out there. And I'm glad we did.
You know, I was just thinking that I don't want to just bypass how disgusting of a thing that is what she did, trying to appropriate that woman's story, who, you know, that's a real story. She actually did endure that torture, and for her to try to appropriate that for political gain is just, it's fucking disgusting. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, no, you're right. And, you know, there's been talk about how like this is kind of torpedoing Katie Britt and her career. And then there's other people that are like, no way, she's going to be like the darling on the right. She might even be vice president over it. I mean, that's quite the indictment of the party, if that's what it takes. But it is Brit. Brit looks better on a bumper sticker than Gnome, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you said you knew who she was. I pay pretty close attention to politics. I did not really know who she was.
I should have put her in the sofa game.
I wouldn't have guessed. I would not have known. Yeah.
Damn it. All right, well, good to know. There's a lot of topics in this little press scrum that Biden's having. So he is on his way to Air Force One, and it covers a few things. I kind of listed it out here. Let's see. Lots of topics.
TikTok, Gaza, the port that they're building in Gaza, the Katie Britt, that come to Jesus moment. Biden was caught on a hot mic. They're calling it a hot mic. I mean, he was walking through a crowded area, and he said that he's going to have a come to Jesus. He's going to have a come to Jesus moment with Bibi Netanyahu. I don't understand why that was a big deal at all. Like, other than it's weird to say come to Jesus in the context of a Jewish person. Right? Like, that seems weird.
That does seem a little
like
weird.
In what manner? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
that's
what's worse, that or a Roman? Like, well, I was talking to this guy from Rome who's saying we really got to have a come to Jesus, come to Caesar moment, more like it.
There you go. There you go.
And illegals come up. Oh, that whole illegal thing. He called the guy that killed that lady an illegal. And
yes.
Then people got mad when he apologized for it. It's like, okay, whatever. He should have stuck with it.
Will you come into a debate with former President Trump? It depends on his behavior.
Do you regret using the word illegal to describe immigrants last night, sir?
Well, I don't regret it. Technically not supposed to be here.
Why does Mr. Netanyahu need a come to Jesus meeting? What are you hoping to achieve?
I didn't say that in the speech.
After this, what about after the speech?
You guys eavesdropping on things.
He's lighthearted, fancy free.
Does that show your level of frustration with him on humanitarian aid? Does he need to be doing more?
Yes, he does.
See Senator Britt's rebuttal, sir?
I just saw a little bit on television. Because she's a very talented woman, I didn't quite understand the connection she was making.
Just a question. Do you still support banning TikTok? Would you sign that bill?
Just before we get on to TikTok and away from Brit, it had an awkward pause at the beginning and the end. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
people were asking why did they do that? Like, why didn't they? Like, they must have had like time for the
they could have trimmed it or
networks.
Yeah,
because they fucking filmed. That was pre-taped and sent to the networks. The networks just hit play,
so it wasn't live at all.
It wasn't live. It didn't have to be so weird. They could have done like, "Hey, you sound weird." She was coached into talking like that, or at least encouraged.
Somebody did. Yeah. I mean, the one thing I have to say about this clip and then the State of the Union speech generally, how Biden has been on the campaign trail since it, man, the narrative of him being an incoherent man that can't string a couple of words together, that just doesn't apply anymore. I mean, it's pretty clear that he has something going on up there. He can actually engage with people and he's actually present.
And we've seen videos of Trump being what they do and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's even, but it's certainly not. It's not a club to really try to use too much. Yeah.
Right.
If they pass it, I'll sign it.
Mr. President, who is going to provide security for the port you're planning to build to offer aid to Gaza? Is it going to be the idea? Are you concerned that
Okay, we're gonna have the Israelis guard the port. Well, that's gonna go great.
The Mexicans are going to pay for the wall.
Yeah, there we go. That's it. The Israelis are going to pay for it. I had Howard Dean show up here. I think I'm going to skip this Morning Joe one. Let's talk about TikTok. That sets us up good for TikTok. I put this clip in here because I had this as uncommonly good Rachel Maddow. This might be our first Rachel Maddow clip ever in 4 years.
It's funny that you texted me about this, and I was actually watching the show when you sent that text message.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I think our 4-year anniversary is next Friday.
Oh shit, is it?
Yeah, it's not. Well, I didn't get to anything. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Okay.
Which is that the paper anniversary?
No, paper is the first.
Oh, okay.
Maybe wood.
Oh,
I'm bringing you the wood, Alan.
There are a lot of people on TikTok that love it. There are a lot of young kids on TikTok who.
So he's responding to. Just hold on for a moment. Wasn't one of Trump's things we need to ban TikTok? These Chinese companies, we need to ban Huawei and we need to ban TikTok, right?
Absolutely. He's tried to. I think he did an executive order to try and do that.
I thought so, but now that Biden wants to do it, just like the border. No, I don't really want to fix the border.
Who will go crazy without it? There are a lot of users. There's a lot of good.
It's a lot of good. Really?
So he's grasping at straws to say something good about TikTok, having spent the last 6 to 8 years. Well, it wasn't around for 8 years, but having spent a very long time bashing it as a platform,
vilifying it essentially.
Yeah, as it deserves. But he can't come up with anything of. There's a lot of kids that would be mad, and there's a lot of good. You just heard it. That's what you just heard. Right. So here's Rachel in uncommon form.
Hey, all of a sudden, why the change?
Quote, some have noted that Trump recently hosted Jeff Yass at his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida. Yass is a billionaire investor in ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, and Trump is seeking his support in the presidential race.
Wow.
So follow.
I don't think he's not only looking for his support in the presidential race. The guy needs money, and that's an actual billionaire.
Yeah.
Please pay my lawsuit, sir. I'll defend your TikToks.
I mean, she's also in that segment. She also talks about Bud Light and how he had he sent out a tweet early February. I think it was like February 6th or something like that, saying we should give Bud Light another chance, essentially.
Because it's a sponsor.
Because they were doing a $10,000 plate dinner fundraising.
It's a sponsor. He's like, guys, we can't say bad things about our sponsor anymore.
Yes.
Like, he's he's a NASCAR. He should just wear fucking patches on his suit. They all should.
I mean, meanwhile, you had conservatives like firing rockets at cans of Bud Light. It was just a whole meme.
Kid Rock took out his
yeah. But it's so obvious to see he's just following the money, and now he needs the money worse than ever because of all these legal issues he's having.
Exactly.
So it's pretty wild.
It's
obvious.
It's so obvious. It's disgusting.
It really is.
I know I shouldn't get my guard down, but I am less and less concerned about him as a political threat.
Oh man, I wish I shared your optimism.
Yeah. Now that there aren't any Republicans for him to take shots at anymore, and he just has to go up there and say bad things about the Democrats and just do his old tired shit.
Yeah.
That hasn't done anything since 2016 effectively. Like I'm worried, but I'm not. I'm less worried now that it's just him versus Joe. Like as long as Joe can do State of the Union Joe all the way to,
as long as he can maintain that level,
which sucks to be excited about though. Like right, like God.
Yeah, I guess kind of.
So let's keep with the TikTok stuff. Okay. So I follow this account that it's the House Committee on the CCP. They don't always post the most sincere and genuine information, but I thought this was a pretty decent press conference with them showing their side of why this bill should get passed. That if the Senate signs it, the president will sign it. If the Senate passes it, he'll sign it.
So we have now come together. We have 10 Democrats and 10 Republicans to introduce a bill that would prohibit TikTok from operating in the United States unless it severs its ties to ByteDance or any other entity controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. If you value your personal freedom and privacy online, if you care about Americans' national security at home, and yes, even if you want TikTok to stick around in the United States, this bill offers the only real step toward each of those goals. Let me explain why. Under ByteDance ownership structure, the Chinese government has the ability to manipulate TikTok's algorithm, surveil its users, and conduct influence operations that quietly populate Americans' For You pages.
Which is funny because the first thing they did in response to this was like sort of somewhat initiate a hashtag and encourage people to go and defend TikTok being banned.
But, and this is crucial, there is a path forward for TikTok. As outlined in our bipartisan bill, if TikTok is completely divested by CCP-controlled ByteDance, if there is a separation, the app can remain in the United States. Through this bill, we want to ensure divestment, not censorship. If an entity other than a CCP-controlled entity owns TikTok, Americans can still share whatever content they like, no matter how bad the dance moves may be. You cannot.
All right. I'm glad you laughed at that.
I mean, it's interesting that this has such bipartisan support, and the fact that you see a man in a suit and tie standing in front of a
saying TikTok that many times.
Yeah, it's pretty, it feels weird, man.
Yeah,
I agree. It feels fucking weird.
I don't know where else to put. Do you have more thoughts on the TikTok thing? One thing that I saw in the bill is that it's basically going to give a lot of it's going to give a lot of power to the executive branch. And I don't like that. We've done that too much. And like ideally, we would see Congress pass a law that gives Congress the power to do these things
if they all can agree on something and do it, but they can't fucking agree on anything. So they're like, we're going to pass this thing that makes the president able to do this. And then like, in what other ways are they going to interpret that to do things towards other, and or in what ways does that normalize that type of action from the executive branch? I feel a lot of discomfort towards that, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. I I'm sort of ambivalent here. I'm not a TikTok user. I used it like once and I didn't enjoy the experience.
I'm one of those people that's like, I don't want to ever put it on my phone.
Yeah.
I've thought about like getting a burner or putting it on. I can't put it on my work phone. I do want to post there for the show, but I don't want it on my phone.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I generally speaking, I'm okay with this legislation. I think that's fine. If people want to get behind that. But as I said, I'm kind of ambivalent about this whole thing. Yeah.
Well, now that the whole Hunter Biden thing has been proven to be a sham, and that all their informants were
the FBI's informants,
yeah, they were all Russian spies or lying. Here is, am I wrong? Was it not Russian? Was it Iranian spies? Was it Chinese spies? One of those.
I think it was.
Can't. It's okay.
Chinese. Maybe
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Some big baddie. Can we talk about Jared Kushner?
Sure.
And the insane part is that just months after leaving the White House, Jared Kushner received a $2 billion with a B investment fund from the Saudis to manage and being paid directly as well out of that fund that the Saudi government organized. I want to just mention also that our chairman also said, and I quote, that this crossed the line of ethics, end quote. So why have we not investigated the Trump crime family and the current and ongoing abuse by Jared Kushner as a government official? And I remind folks, Hunter actually never worked for the government. He was a private citizen. That's why I want to offer my amendment, which lays out the details of not just the $8 million in illegal, unconstitutional foreign payments, but also demands Donald Trump to pay back the taxpayers. It demands a full accounting of all of his properties, and it subpoenas the Kushner businesses so we can understand the complete grift, not just from Saudi Arabia, but the 20 other foreign governments which we have records for, and the governments that we don't have records for.
I mean, that's just, I'll stop it there because it's kind of getting boring.
Yeah.
I mean, that at least seems more compelling than this guy left his laptop at a fucking blind guy's computer repair shop. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that on the show when it happened with the Saudi sovereign fund investing in Kushner.
Anytime I see a clip, it's going on the show, though.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, people talk about double standards legally for Trump. Imagine this is a huge double standard. Like if you're going to prosecute Hunter because of the laptop thing, but you're not even going to look into the fact that the Saudis paid this guy $2 billion or gave him $2 billion rather to invest. I mean, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, I think this lady's really kind of cornered onto something. Let's play this lady.
Listen to what Elon Musk just tweeted, because
yeah, you should listen to what Elon Musk just tweeted. I feel like I never signed up to get Elon Musk's tweets, but they're always recommended to me. And it's like, at some point, it's just weird that like 9 out of 10 recommendations I get from the app are from the owner of the app. Like
it is odd. I hardly ever log in there anymore. But yeah, I see the same thing. He's always on the front page.
Yeah.
it will chill your bones. He says, he tweeted about this. The UK Daily Mail is covering it. He says,
the Daily Mail in the UK is covering it, Alan, so it's totally legit.
About Biden, it is highly probable that the groundwork is being laid for something far worse than 9/11, just a matter of time. It is
highly probable.
I mean, just wrap your mind around this for a minute. Just try to just go. You in the last 48 hours, we have learned from the FBI. They have a wanted poster out that the Iranians are trying to assassinate Donald Trump and those around him. They really want you to know that. But
and then she's connecting that to the border, and she's wondering why the FBI really wants you to know here.
The way that the Iranians would like to assassinate Donald Trump. Don't know why the FBI wants you to know that. Anyway, they have.
I wonder why the FBI would want you to know that a former president is being targeted by. It's really weird that they want you to know that. So is there no way of winning? Either they don't say that or they do. And it's like, they really want you to know that some former president wants to be killed by the Iranians. Alan, also, why do the Iranians want to kill Donald Trump?
Oh, because he murdered Soleimani.
Yeah, laughs in Soleimani. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Like, I don't know why she's pleading ignorance, right? Like feigning ignorance.
It's essentially, yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a wackadoo and the half width.
Okay.
I also believe the wackadoo.
Oh,
Are you up to date on the Kate Middleton stuff that's going on?
Oh, I'm not sure. Let's find out.
So she went in for some abdominal surgery and hasn't been seen since. And the photos that have come out have clearly been photoshopped, and not in a way where you like made your face look better. There's like this zoom in. If you zoom, sorry, you know the object eraser, like you draw around something to make it go away. Her hand is next to. There's a piece of like the dress that it's next to that's been erased, and her hand doesn't have her ring on it, which is weird. Other people are saying that the face in it actually matches her Vanity Fair cover. It's bizarre. And like supposedly William took the picture, but then somebody else apologized for it, photoshopping it. Like
That's pretty bizarre.
It is bizarre.
Royal Highness Kate Middleton has been declared missing by her fans, and the conspiracy is that she may be in a coma. The last time she was seen was Christmas Day at a public gathering with her family, and now it's almost March. That is unheard of. 3 weeks after that day, on January 17th, she was admitted to the hospital to undergo a planned abdominal surgery. And she was scheduled to leave after 2 weeks, but has never been seen leaving. Meanwhile, King Charles actually had to go to the hospital that same exact day to get a procedure done. So someone is salt burning the royal family. The king was actually seen leaving, waving to his fans. Kate Middleton also canceled all her public appearances until April. She's gone, girl. This is where the conspiracy gets crazy. A Spanish journalist reported that there were complications during her surgery that caused the hospital to take drastic measures to save her life, and they allegedly had to induce her into a coma. Just this week, Prince William canceled on giving a speech at his godfather's memorial because of an urgent family matter. It must be very bad. Or maybe she's in the Princess Protection Program. Or filming The Masked Singer. But it gets juicy when you learn that this is all coming to light when they were rumored to be having major marital troubles and that they were about to divorce, or he was about to leave her for his mistress. Evidence of that includes that William went back to using his old stamp signature. He would always use the one reserved for them as a couple, but now he went back to just the big W signature for William, as if she's just not there anymore. So what?
This is the good one, right? Like that people don't like the other. They only have one prince left, right? The other one left.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the prince they got left.
She silent or was she silenced? We will find you, girl.
Okay.
You know,
That's something.
I've always found it bizarre people's fascination with the royal family.
Royals, yeah.
I just don't. I never
If they
got that.
didn't kill Princess Di, then maybe I wouldn't be so suspicious.
There you go. There you go.
Isn't it funny that her name means
Die?
Oh, yeah. Never mind. That's it. Diana the Hunter, and she was hunted. Alan. Not that she died. What are you, my uncle? Okay, let's end the half with this clip.
Okay.
I have a coworker who always leaves early, and I don't usually mind, but today we were so busy. There was so much to do. I was so stressed. He was like, I'm going to head out early. I'm tired. And in my desperation,
I'm tired. I'm Dustin.
I remembered that he's a Christian. So I said to him, you know who was tired but didn't go home? And he was like, who? I said, Jesus Christ. And he like carried his own cross and got the job done. And my coworker got so fired up. I've never seen him work so hard. And I thought, I used a religion I don't even believe in to influence another person's behavior. And then I thought, if the wrong people find out how easy that is, the United States could be in a lot of trouble.
Imagine that.
That's something.
That would be big trouble. All right, I'm gonna go get a drink.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the B side.
See you on the B side. And we're back.
Well, I still have food in my mouth. Natasha hates it when I do this.
Oh, what'd she make?
Well, then I was kind of going on fumes in that first half, man. Sorry if my brain wasn't working. I feel like I was foggy. Was I fine?
I think you're fine. I think
Okay.
you're fine. Yeah.
I have like bad self-assessment when I'm like that. I'm like, I have a recurring memory. It's popped in and out of my head. I couldn't give you like a frequency, but more frequently than you would think.
Okay.
For about the last 20 years.
Oh, wow.
20 years. And I'm listening to myself say it. It has been 20 years. So I think you're the only person on earth I can ask that has the same question. Listeners, this is Friends Corner. This is just two friends chatting before we get into the political stuff. Not like the first half, the political. Tell me if you have this. Every once in a while, I just have a memory. Sometimes memories have like a feeling, like maybe the humidity or the smell or the taste, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All of that's involved in this. Walking into the cash room at the Napa Staples while Jeff was to verify a deposit that Jeff had just been working on.
Mm-hmm.
Can you smell the Quiznos and farts?
Oh God!
And no ventilation, and the radio's on top of the safe, and it's playing that classic rock channel, and it's probably playing like Foreigner or like the live version of Hotel California.
Oh, I can hear it. Yeah,
Can
absolutely.
you smell it though?
Yeah,
like you can taste it.
It's Oh, I don't want to taste it.
Yeah, but you know what Quiznos?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Zero ventilation.
Yes.
Why isn't there a fan there? There should have been an exhaust fan. They're like, why do you need an exhaust fan in the safe room? This is the room where you have money and nothing else. Well, you understand, a portly, middle-aged white guy is going to be filling it up with Quiznos and farts for 45 minutes and making his assistant come in there and count the money with him. God, it's a miracle. It's like, looks like perfect numbers again, boss. Great job. Get the fuck out of this room. Like, that's, he was probably embezzling. It was probably his whole plot.
Maybe I blacked that out because I haven't had a recurring memory of it. But now that you say it, I immediately go back.
I'm sorry for you know what? Most people don't have a Quiznos smell, so
right,
they don't have that.
It's a very specific sense.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it's the Italian sandwich with the hot pepper.
Oh, good.
Okay. All right. Well, let's. We always start. So we're gonna do new listeners. We do the Trump cult, best of the right, and best of the left, and some culture wars, and we'll get out of here. So let's start off the Trump cult. More campaigning should be good for the Dems is my my note here. So Trump decided to go all today, Junior. And if you remember that scene in Billy Madison, she drags him out by her ear and says, "Making fun of a child for learning how to read. Do you not have a soul?" Now, I'm not saying Joe Biden's a child learning how to read, but this was Trump's response to the State of the Union
address, wasn't it? Didn't it bring us together? Remember, he said, "I'm going to bring the country together."
Hey, Junior,
I'm going to bring it together. No, of the Union.
That's unbelievable, right? Like, I mean, it's not anymore, right? It's completely believable and expected, but just like this is one of the two choices we have to choose from for president.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly he's making fun of his stutter. Which you might think would be beyond the pale, but nothing is beyond the pale for that man. So there you go.
Yeah. Not as bad as when he mocked that handicapped person.
I was just thinking of that. I was thinking that as I said that.
But you hate to bring it up, right? Because that's like a darling of people on the left to be like, people turn into Katie Britt. They're like, how dare you?
It's like clutching their pearls.
Oh my God, it's the South Park voice. That's what Katie Britt was doing. That's a South Park serious voice. Like,
oh shit.
It is, right?
That is that. That's dude.
I don't think I've heard anybody else say that.
I mean, but once you say it, I can't.
First,
I can't unhear it that way now. Right? That's exactly what it was.
Okay, so this is Trump calls MSNBC evil, says they shouldn't be allowed to do what they do, and calls them criminals. Man wants.
I'll tell you what. You take a look at MSDNC. How evil they are. They're evil. They're sick. They shouldn't even be allowed to do what they do because it's so corrupt. They should
I look.
I don't even feel like this is splitting hairs, but things have become so abnormal. I have to take time to say the man who wants to be the president of the country shouldn't be on record saying a news agency, whether you like them or not, should exist. Like, just that goes against the First Amendment, whether you think that they're fucking things up at MSNBC or not. Fox News, Newsmax, like, we will make fun of them, but we will never say they shouldn't exist, right? We're not running for president. But if you're going to tell us you're going to be the dictator, and you're saying that that one of the freedoms of press should not exist, I don't care if you don't like them.
Yeah, I mean, so On Tyranny, that book by Tim Snyder, that's one of the pillars.
Does he know?
So you take out the journalism, right? You take out news media, and he's been doing that since even before he got elected, actually. So
It's been my concern is you know, and like, look, I understand why people are unhappy with reporters and a lot of news agencies, but institutions that have editors and are held accountable to the rules of getting the opinions, having a comment said by anybody that you're reporting on, those types of standards are where any institutions where those standards are still upheld are important. And they should not be thrown to the wayside, because when you lose them and then you lose the legislature, which we've lost, right? Like, they won't, at best, they won't do anything, right? Like, whether you are happy that it's all Republicans or happy if it's all Democrats, like, they're not fucking doing anything. So there is no legislature. It's been nullified. And the Supreme Court is blatantly backing a particular candidate instead of just making a decision that answers the question. They're going out of their way, according to one of the most conservative members of the court, says that decision went out of its way to protect one of the candidates. When all that's happening and you lose the press, I mean, we're losing the press anyways, just because there is journalism's based off ad models, and the ad model is collapsing, so you can't fund journalism. Can you comment on this?
Yeah, so essentially, the press is sort of the unofficial fourth branch of the government, right? I mean, that's what keeps democracy free.
That's why the First Amendment mostly exists.
So hold people in power accountable, and to inform the public. And so we need them to do that function to have a functional democracy. And to your point, the profit model currently that the press uses is failing. And so what you end up with is very polarized news media who want to play to one side or the other to, be profitable, because it's more profitable to sow hate than it is to unite.
Or at least division, yeah.
Right. So that's where we are, and it sucks. But we're here for you guys, though. We're here.
Yes. That's why we go with mutual beneficial type program like us, where it's like you send stuff in, we share it here, we comment on it, like it's a whole ecosystem.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm not spoiling Dune yet, but this is Dune saying, "I'm not Mahdi." This is Paul after he's had the worm juice. Aiden sent this in.
Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States.
Doesn't it sound like she says, Have Nagila?
I heard Halima. I heard M's in there.
Oh, there's that. And I said that to James, and he said it says, "How gay a diva." That's all I can hear with either of those. It's a great soundtrack, but when you don't know what someone's saying, the brain, fills it in with words it knows. There's a lot about what's going on in my psyche. Oh shit, I was supposed to go on the soundboard. Good thing I talked all over it. God damn it. Without TikTok, Facebook's going to be huge. This is something a fucking boomer would say, but this man wants to be president. Listen to this.
Frankly, there are a lot of people on TikTok that love it. There are a lot of young kids on TikTok who will go crazy without it. There are a lot of users. There's a lot of good, and there's a lot of bad with TikTok. But the thing I don't like is that without TikTok, you can make Facebook bigger. And I can
fucking Facebook bigger. What year is this? 2016, 2008? Like, is this when Obama got elected because of Facebook? Like, nothing's going to get Facebook bigger until they let me put links on post again. Like, oh my God, someone might leave your precious fucking app. Like, let me put a link to the show and we might get, and please allow us to get more than 4 people to fucking see anything that has a link in it. Like once people catch on to these games that you play to nerf everything, nobody wants to go on your site anymore. Like,
yeah, I
nobody's
mean,
gonna go to Facebook if you ban TikTok. I promise you that.
Yeah, that's not happening. I think we kind of played that clip earlier with.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. It
thing.
didn't have the second part about.
Didn't have
Facebook.
the second part. Yeah. That Facebook thing's pretty funny.
Yeah. Something a boomer would say, right?
That's definitely
Where
something.
I get my memes. How am I gonna get memes?
I wonder what percentage of Meta's revenue is actually Facebook these days. I gotta imagine that Instagram is way bigger.
You know what? It would be interesting to see because I bet it's still surprisingly high, and it's just people thinking that's where the ads go. You know,
could be. Yeah.
Like it's like how the Yellow Pages lasted forever after like. But you know what? In like 2013, I worked at an air conditioning company, and one of the things we had to ask people is how they found out about us. 70% was the Yellow Pages.
Damn.
2013. I'm pretty sure that isn't still a high number, but I wouldn't have expected it then, you know?
Yeah, definitely not. There are people who actually their job was to sell ads in Yellow Pages. Did. It's so weird.
That's really weird. This is a well, this doesn't belong here.
I don't belong here.
Well, I'm gonna play it anyways. This is a guy that says he's a registered Republican because he's a conservative and he's gonna vote for Joe Biden.
I'm just going to leave you with this comment, and that is that I register as a Republican because I'm a conservative, and I'm going to vote for Joe Biden because I'm a Christian. Thank you.
This is why it's in the Trump segment, because the Republican he's talking to, this is Biggs, right? Andy Biggs. This is his response to that.
Thank you for listening.
Mr. Biggs.
Well, I think that's really interesting. He probably should re-register as a Democrat. I think if you're not voting for Donald,
did it stop?
Yeah, what
Trump because you think he's not a Christian or not a moral man, I'm not going to say look at Joe Biden. I would just say we should all look at ourselves.
Wow, that's his take. Don't throw stones in glass houses. Okay. Right,
yeah,
sure.
he goes the whole "don't throw stones" route.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking about this man, here's a rant that did. You know what? Rare Seth Meyers W.
For third time, despite the fact that he's a twice impeached, 4-time criminal indictee and racist who's been found liable for fraud and sexual abuse, banned from doing business in the state of New York for 3 years, owes over.
I feel like I can move the microphone for a while on this one.
$500 million in fine, took millions from foreign governments while he was president, tried to extort a foreign country to interfere in an election in 2020, and encouraged another to help him win in 2016, actively undermined the nation's response to a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, and let a deadly disease spiral out of control. It's about to go on trial for breaking campaign finance laws by paying hush money to cover up an affair during the 2016 campaign. Orchestrated a months-long coup attempt that culminated in a violent insurrection to disrupt the peaceful transfer of power and install him as an unelected dictator. Stole classified documents and obstructed attempts to get them back. Has never once won the popular vote and has been routinely rejected by a majority of Americans in election after election. Spews deranged conspiracy theories about everything from climate change to immigration to vaccines to windmills.
You know what's funny is Trump did this to himself, right? Like this is
absolutely
this is his material.
Glitches on 3-syllable words, 2-syllable words, and 1-syllable words. Cheats at golf. Can't spell his own name, his wife's name, or the words indicted, education, unprecedented, stolen, Denmark, Kentucky, or tap. And is, on top of everything else, the single weirdest and most off-putting human being on the face of the planet. And this is the same planet Ted Cruz lives on, so that same Donald Trump is now.
Must be the money. Oh man. Wow.
That's so great. It's like every time you think he's done, there's more.
I stopped that halfway through. I was like, this is good for the show. It's a little long, and then it kept going. Thrash sent that in. Thanks, Thrash. All right. Well, that transitions us into the rest of the right. Okay. Actually, this will man, I'm still coughing from that. This will actually transition us a little bit more into the rest of the right and a dilemma for us. If we are to believe Donald Trump and his favorite son, we don't need to have a rest of the right clip anymore. MAGA is the Republican Party. I mean, they did place their people at the top of the party.
And I'm of a mind. Let's play this clip. Let's play this clip.
The RNC is going to be a little bit more of
This is his favorite boy. This is Don Jr.
that old school establishment. That Republican Party, frankly, no longer exists outside of the D.C. Beltway. But it takes a little while to make that transition. But again, I think the moves that happened today. I think that's the final blow. People have to understand that America first, the MAGA movement, is the new Republican Party. That is conservatism today. I think the RNC is going to be a little bit more of that old school establishment.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, it's kind of terrifying to see, but essentially that is what's become of that party.
You know what? I disagree.
Do you? Okay.
And I've got a comparison I think you'll understand.
Okay.
It reminds me of how a very vocal minority has made everyone on a college campus just toe the line with progressive liberalism.
Okay.
You can take that as a negative or a positive. Your opinion of what that meant is completely on you, listener. But that's factual. It isn't a majority of the campus, and people kind of go
fall
online. Yeah. And I see that out here with conservatism in Tennessee as well, I think in that same way that the MAGA crowd, we know for a fact that they are not a majority of the Republican Party, which makes them a minority within the United States. But everybody just walks around on eggshells so they don't get stuck into some fucking conspiracy
culture war bullshit.
Culture war conversation instead of talking about the fucking weather or whatever,
Okay, so you're saying they're the bullies, and
the
ones we hear right now.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, okay, or we can follow their wishes and call it the MAGA party and literally end the GOP. What does that stand for?
Grand Old Party.
Yeah, for a reason, right? Like that would kind of be a shame, wouldn't it?
It would.
I mean, I actually mean that. I'm not a Democrat, so I'm not like partial to like, oh no, the GOP goes away. I mean, if they end themselves in this manner, like they deserve it.
It's like self-immolation.
Yeah.
Of a party. Yeah.
I mean, if they want it, they can have it. I'm not. Well, Natasha just came home from short youth group. They'll. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they'll be happy with what they're left with if they, But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens to the moderates in that party.
I mean, just the MAGA section of that party holds so much power right now.
We'll see with voting numbers.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see. By the way,
it's going to be an interesting 24. Yes.
Yeah. I'm considering adding this to the end of show clip. Maybe at the very end.
May God bless you, and may God continue to bless these United States of America.
She said, "Oh, here, wait, it goes on. It goes on." This is a channel called Real America Voice, or is a show called that, live from Studio 6B. These are the people in the studio's reaction. This is all live. This isn't cut. They're holding their face.
One of them has his head in his hands.
I'm sure she's
I'm a fan of her.
I'm sure she's very nice.
May God bless.
He's like, I'm a fan of her, so like, I want to say something nice, but Jesus, that was like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, why didn't you cut 10 seconds off of that and send it into the network, right?
Yeah, trim it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that guy, the one guy had his head in his hands, like just, and they seem speechless almost after it ended. Like, what the fuck do we say after that?
I look, most people don't watch the State of the Union, which means even less people watch the rebuttal.
The response, yeah.
But it's memeified. It's mimetic, right? Like it gets spread mimetically. It spread mimetic. I've had too much
Easy
of the
for you
bag
to
of
say.
wine. Have you seen me drinking out of the bag?
I did. I wasn't sure
The
what
box
that
was too clumsy, and I couldn't like funnel it into the spout.
Got it.
There's at least a cup in there. Cuppa.
Get your money's worth.
Yeah. Wow. Yes.
That's shrinkflation, man.
Alan, we'll talk. You know what? Shrinkflation reminds me. You never hear people say, "I'm a shower, not a grower."
It's true. You don't.
You never hear that.
Typically don't. No.
Oh, all right. I don't know where I'm at. Let's skip this. Tennessee rep, good yay to Palestine. Getting the dude. Don't know what this is. Chuck Fleischman wants to wipe Palestine off of
You
Earth.
can tell the Palestinians I will never support the Anti.
Why do you support the genocide and all of the war crimes and collective punishment? Are you concerned about all the children?
Let me make
dying
it
in
clear.
Gaza?
Let me make it clear. Israel is our ally. Will always be our ally.
Even if they commit war
and they are
crimes,
not
even
guilty
with-
of genocide.
Say it.
And I
Why?
will support Israel forever.
You will
So
su-
Israel will stay your ally, even though they commit Israel
genocide.
will be my,
Even though
that's
that.
your term.
Even
Can
when
you
they kill
That is
explain-
your
even
term.
when they kill 30,000
What
kids,
they
that is
did
a
to
statistic.
Why is he letting this moment get away from him? Like,
I don't know.
like he should be able to not succumb to the pressure of the conversation around him. And he's like, I mean, you could tell in his eyes, he's just completely seeing red and just like he's speaking completely emotionally, right?
100%. Yes.
Israeli
That's a
people
statistic.
on October. Let me tell you a statistic.
Yeah, please.
Israel will exist. The Jewish state will exist.
That's not a
It will always
statistic.
exist,
That's not what we're.
and that is for
That has
God
absolutely
to do
nothing
and
to do with what we're
decide.
saying.
And I will
You are a
always support
supporter of
Israel.
genocide, sir. You're
I will
supporting
always
the
support
murder of
Israel,
little children.
and you can tell the Palestinians I will
I
never
am a-
support.
Can I be a little cynical here?
Sure.
What's the biggest lobbying group in DC?
APAC, I imagine.
And how are these people in office?
Because lobbyists pay them.
This is a great ad. Like if right, this is like, of course I drink Coca-Cola and I love McDonald's. I'm an American and I will eat a Big Mac every Sunday for the rest of my life.
You're not wrong. It would
I
be.
did do that for about 10 years. Every once in a while it became a problem, but
every once in a while
I pulled it off. Yeah, and it was overseas.
Ah,
talk about it. It was a sad day. It put me on a good path though. It's less frequent now.
Nice,
Big Mac,
nice.
extra cheese. They always fuck up the extra cheese. You have to check it before you drive away. They don't fuck up charging you. They always charge you for the extra cheese, and it's
They
a
don't
lot.
give you the extra cheese. God damn it.
Well, I just yes, exactly. North Carolina candidate for governor. This guy, you're gonna see him a lot up till November. This man wants to be the governor of North Carolina. He first became popular about 5 years ago. I want to say, actually, time has got away from me. Maybe it was 2015. He showed up at a like a city council or like a town hall meeting, and it had one of those moments where like the questioner asked such a good question, according to the media, it becomes like it gets shared virally, and he ended up converting that into like an online presence that then translated into political office. And he's worked his way up to lieutenant governor right now, and he is running for governor. Just one problem. This is
idiotic guy was on stage with Candace Owens a few days ago and asked her,
now you might think, how long ago did they dig this up? 2020.
"What America
We all know 2020 was 15 years ago. This COVID was
are we going back to make America great again? The one where women couldn't vote or black people were swinging from trees?" I would say to him if I was standing in front of him, I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote. Idiotic guy was on stage with Candace Owens a few days ago and asked her.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, maybe he didn't want Candace Owens to vote, though. In which
I would
case, don't.
Oh, man.
Here say him. He does the multiple syllable Southern language that they say is going away. Oh my God. I have 2 fucking clips of Rachel Maddow.
Doing
Walter Matthau.
Here is the serving Republican lieutenant governor of North Carolina on Black Panther. He says it is, quote, created by an agnostic Jew and put to film by a satanic Marxist. He calls it, quote, this trash that was only created to pull the shekels out of your Schwarze pockets. Here he is calling survivors of school gun massacres, quote, media prostitutes, as in prostitutes, but
That's a Alex Jonesism, right? That's more of a Rush Limbauhism, right?
Yeah, probably.
prostitutes. He calls them spoiled little bastards who need to shut up. Again, this is for kids who lived through a
Maybe she's only talking about that David Hogue guy. I could never hear that David Hogue guy talk again and be fine. Sorry.
school shooting. 17
He's the Greta of school shootings, right? It's like, dude, you don't help this conversation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
of their classmates. They need to shut up. He calls public school teachers, quote, wicked people And not for nothing, he says this about the Holocaust. He says, quote, Hitler disarming millions of Jews and then marching them off to concentration camps is a bunch of hogwash.
I thought he was going to say was like, I thought the scandal was him saying all of that. James, you're not going to catch me rereading that. I thought the scandal was going to be him saying all of that and saying was a good idea, or like political master stroke to like disarm them and then do that. Right. But no, it was made up. It's all made up. This is that fucking guy in the group chat. Not group chat, the DMs that I'm always talking about.
This is insane that man could run for governor in the state.
And he's close, right? He's one of two choices. Like,
jeez,
it's fucking wild, man.
It's pretty wild.
I think things are looking pretty good for the Democrat there, but it's also hard to predict. I mean, you see the way they draw their districts. Not that comes into play with it, but like, there's obviously a pretty interesting divide of the population that they can't just have fair districts. Not that anybody does, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's going to be a close race. Closer than it should be, like Herschel Walker running.
Yeah. I mean, the communities like around Duke and North Carolina are going to lean more left, and then
because of the blue, because they both have blue in their colors.
Sure.
I knew it.
That's totally why. It's totally why.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, and then up in Appalachia, you never know. You never know.
It's going to be the opposite. Yeah.
Oh, maybe. Here's that Fox ad that I told you they made for Biden.
Tonight, America saw, let's say, a very different Joe Biden. I might call him Jacked Up Joe.
Fired up.
Feisty, fiery, combative.
And he showed some tremendous vigor. I'd like a sip of whatever they gave him.
And he was pissed.
Mad, and the veins bulge on his head.
Hyper caffeinated. He was really going fast at points.
He seemed really jacked up.
Jacked Up Joe screaming.
Jacked Up Joe, right?
This was not your grandfather's State of the Union speech.
I'm Jacked Up Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
They did it for him. Yeah. They did it for him. You can't make this shit up.
Well, music's still too loud, and that was professionally done. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was a pretty impressive performance.
I agree. I completely
was it because
agree.
Expectations were so low, or
I mean, there are certainly people who are saying that we weren't expecting much, so anything is a big deal. But no, I think even if you had relatively high expectations, I think he probably exceeded them.
How about how great it was when he was walking down the hall and he saw Marjorie dressed like a Marlboro Red.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, that face. He was like, "Oh."
I mean, Grandpa can ad lib still.
Yeah, that was
it's been a very pro Joe Biden episode.
How about that? Isn't that something?
No, Alan, you tricked me. All right, I want to play a tough subject. Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna call it a dead dog record. I have more respect for the subject than that. It's all right. We're a grown-up show.
Yeah, we can.
All right. So I mean, I know that me and you and our listeners can handle it, but I think it's unfortunate that the subject has kind of come up in this episode a lot, and I don't mean it to be heavy in that way, but this is the news of the week. This is a public figure that, and it doesn't have to do with this woman. It has to do with one of the people running for office. So it's important for context of this person. So we're going to play Nancy Mace, who could be potentially maybe a vice presidential pick. I doubt the Republican Party, Donald Trump, doesn't pick a woman. We like the one syllable names. Trump Mace. I mean, that sounds strong, doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's stronger
right
than
up there with Trump.
Noam. I think Trump Noam sounds pretty weak.
Yeah, Mace or Britt sounds better.
I think a Trump Noam sits in your garden. God, I hope he picks her so I can make that joke. This is March 12th, 2024. We said it first. Okay, so this is a tough subject, and it deals with sexual assault. But like I said, it's a public figure. It's Nancy Mace, and she's being interviewed by a reporter asking her about something that she's made public statements about in relation to her endorsing Donald Trump, who was just convicted by a jury of committing sexual assault. Now, I think she answered this very out of bad faith. And I think this is a good example of like, hey, glad we saw who you are. And maybe we don't know that before we have a choice to vote for you. Okay, I've editorialized before the clip too much.
And you've endorsed Donald Trump for president. Judges and two separate juries have found him liable for rape and for defaming the victim of that rape. How do you square your endorsement of Donald Trump with the testimony we just saw?
Well, I will tell you, I was raped at the age of 16. And any rape victim will tell you, I've lived for 30 years with an incredible amount of shame over being raped. I didn't come forward because of that judgment and shame that I felt. And
Yeah, up to here is what you would expect to probably hear from
Sure.
any like strong survivor of a horrible life experience. Like nothing, everything I said prior has nothing to do with that part. This takes a turn at this moment.
it's a shame that you will never feel, George. And I'm not going to sit here on your show and be asked a question meant to shame me about another potential.
Was that meant to shame her?
Not the way I would interpret it, no.
So she's hearing you, a victim of sexual assault, you, a victim of rape, have endorsed a rapist. She's hearing that, but he specifically didn't say that.
No, he was just trying to draw.
So you've endorsed him.
Right.
He is convicted of this. How does that make you feel? And she's taken it there and said, shame on you. About, I don't know. It reminds you of Pulp Fiction where it's like, say shame again, I dare you. What kind of language they speak in shame?
Rape victim. I'm not gonna do that.
It's actually not about shaming you. It's a question about Donald
No, you
Trump.
are shaming
You've
me.
endorsed Donald Trump for president.
Right.
Donald Trump has been found liable for rape by a jury. Donald Trump has been found liable for defaming the victim of that rape by a jury. It's been affirmed by a judge.
It was not a criminal court case, number one. Number two, I live with shame. And you're asking me a question about my political choices, trying to shame me as a rape victim, and I find it disgusting. And quite frankly, E. Jean Carroll's comments when she did get the judgment, joking about what she was going to buy, it makes it harder for women to come forward when they make a mockery out of rape, when they joke about it.
Doesn't it make it harder for women to come forward when they are
It makes it
defamed by
harder when other
presidential
women
candidates?
joke about it, and she's joked about it. And I find it offensive. And I also find it offensive that you're trying to shame me with this question.
Let's rape possums.
Just icebreaker at the end.
I mean, he wasn't trying to shame her. He was just pointing out the incongruousness of her supporting somebody who is convicted of sexual assault.
This almost could have been in Culture Wars because this is just a tactic of a bad faith actor in a conversation, right? And like at that moment, this interview, like, I can't get anything of value from you. I can't trust that you're saying anything in good faith.
It feels really gross and icky. The whole
Yeah,
thing.
and it's like, by the way, I don't want to be fucking talking about you with this
Right.
attitude, right? Like,
well,
I mean, she knows that. She knows that she almost has that like ability to hit him with that and just stop this conversation. But he stuck with it as a reporter and clarified himself.
Yeah, he hung in there. But yeah, I don't know. Her response.
She's talked about this publicly. He didn't pull this up out of nowhere and ambush her.
Yeah, it's not like he's
He's asking her a question about something she's been public talking about in relation to a guy running for president. Also, what if say that interview was happening and the person interviewing her was a victim of rape?
Yeah, then what?
So what? Like, so just entertaining that thought right there proves to you that her point is invalid, and she didn't answer the question, and she's left
she did
endorsing somebody that she finds, shame inducing and all that stuff. Like, okay, all right, I guess that's her answer. Okay, all right. Shall we move on to best of the left?
Let's.
Okay. I've got John Kerry, Russian emissions. I'm not sure what that means. Oh. John Kerry's going to tell us that, look, there's a lot of bad stuff happening around the world. And if we could just get Russia to stop one thing, maybe everything would be a lot better. So this is such a emissions inducing climate catastrophe of a war.
I believe that Russia has the ability to be able to make enormous changes if it really wanted to. I mean, if Russia has the ability to wage a war illegally and invade another country, they ought to be able to find the effort to be responsible in the climate issue.
Yeah. It's nuclear powered tanks. That's what you should have been doing. Just fucking brilliant, John. Just get this old man. His moment's passed. Good God. Just because we're talking about being president is as old as he is doesn't mean we have to bring up that old former presidential candidate and have them talk about anything anymore. Get him out of here. Did you see how many old people were at the State of the Union? Sorry, if Russia won.
if Russia, so essentially his point is if Russia could fund the war, they could fund a more eco-friendly.
Yeah, if it was just important to you.
economy.
Meanwhile, they're like, you don't get it. We want the polar ice caps to melt so we can put ships through there, so we can sell gas around the world. You idiot. Why do you think we want a warm water seaport? Like, what do you think this is all about? Like, yeah, we're melting that shit.
We need better shipping lanes. That's all.
Do you see what they do with the hydraulic mining in Siberia, where they just blast the hillside? And I think they target areas that have like mammoth bones decayed, because that's an area with like a bunch of fossil fuels, carbon. Yeah. And it's just like all of this like paleontology. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Sure. Okay.
And like, you know, just remains just getting destroyed. And then there's all the runoff that it causes. It's a whole thing. But they're like, yeah, we're melting it. Yes, that's what we're doing.
That's the plan.
We're pumping water into it too. Like that's water people drink. Like, you know, you could.
Right.
We're done. I got a Kamala clip. I haven't had a Kamala clip in a few weeks. We've been good. Because you do it too much, then you're just being, you know, sexist.
Sure.
We all watched the television coverage.
I feel like this happened, but I don't know that we played it on the show. I've asked a couple of people, and they're like, I didn't hear this. So she's like, we all watched the television coverage doing Flappy Bird hand motions.
Of just yesterday. That's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
Huh? What? Because we've seen it or not doesn't mean.
You know what? I think it's technically true, but I think she's doing the like, you know, the Friends episode where it's like they don't know that we know that they know, or they know that we know that they don't know, or whatever. Like, yeah, you could say this differently. This doesn't have to be
If
like
a tree
this.
falls in the forest.
I don't think she even knows how she got there. She's like, I'm just skiing downhill. I can get through this. And she did. She didn't fall.
Yeah, she made it.
A little wobbly. Yeah. She's not 81 running for president, though.
This is true. This is true.
All right. Do you remember Elizabeth Warren, first of all? Like, she's
sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you remember her saying this in the 2020 debate?
Fat broads and horse-faced lesbians.
What?
Fat broads and horse-faced lesbians.
Are you asking me what? Or
I do not recall this at all. No.
I don't think that was a deep fake. I think she was quoting Trump. That should go in the sound sheet. Maybe not. Maybe not. That's enough. Hey, okay, let's do this. Buzz Burbank, definitely. If we're picking on Buzz, that belongs in Best of the Left, right?
Yes.
When did Buzz stop being cool, man?
No one got hurt. Red hats are saying no one got hurt.
It's talking about people saying like his whole judgment in New York wasn't fair, right? And saying, well, no one got hurt.
One got hurt. Red hats are saying no one got hurt. Well, you can drive drunk, and if you don't kill anybody, nobody got hurt, but you still broke the law.
All right, good point, Buzz.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an interesting analogy.
Yeah.
I don't think I would go there, but okay.
Yeah. That's blatant endorsement by Alan. That's fantastic. Normally I have to do that.
It's another battle in the culture wars.
Oh,
the culture wars. They're worried about a culture war. Culture wars. Top of the culture wars.
I was like, yeah, what are you gonna tell my boss? That's literally what I was thinking. I was like, I don't think I can just blatantly say what I'm thinking right now anymore. Oh, they got the libs now, Alan.
Do they?
Pete Buttigieg's husband. At like you're never gonna guess where this is happening. I'll let you guess where this is happening after. We'll see. I don't know if you'll ever guess this, but there's this page that's kind of like, you know, that page DC Drano, where like that's exactly what you think it's gonna be. It's some right thing like Drain the Swamp dude. Yeah. And it's a pseudonym for a dude where you're like, I don't know if that's even your real name, right? And you know why? Because my buddy Clint Mewey, he used to do Smack Attack with Clint, Matt, and Spence. And then he started being an asshole to his friends, and we'll leave it at that. So he spun off from that and started doing his own show. He called it Liberty Lockdown, and he goes by Clint Russell, which I guess I should know one of my best friends growing up's middle name, but I never caught his middle name. I think he made it up. If you want to know more about Clint Mewey, aka Clint Russell, check out. It'd be hard to find it, but he did have a short-lived rap career as Clint Westwood. There might be some interesting language that you might choose to do
Okay.
I've been sitting on that for a while. I don't.
Yeah.
Look, man, I don't hold a grudge. I've just been telling you for years. I wish you were still my friend, and you've been giving me the finger. So, anyways, so that DC Drano guy and people like that, where they have fake names. This guy, there's this account called The Typical Liberal. It's right up there with the rest of those. I like following him because he does so blatantly, like verifiably not what he's saying it is. Things. So that in his words, Pete Buttigieg's husband is on tape telling young children to pledge allegiance to the LGBTQ flag.
Okay.
Now let's hear it or watch it if you're on the Patreon.
All right. I pledge my heart to the rainbow, of the not so typical gay camp, one camp, full of pride, indivisible, with affirmation and equal rights for all.
Sure sounds like what's that word? Grooming. Sure sounds like grooming. Remember when they were doing that all the time and then they stopped?
I do.
So
I was supposed to guess where that was happening.
yeah,
Feels like I don't know. Is it
they
like
said the not so typical gay camp.
Yeah. Is it
Okay,
just a
so
summer-
at the
summer
gay
camp?
camp for like people to have like inclusion and ability to be around people that they're comfortable with, right?
Mhm.
I'm guessing they're there voluntarily. I do understand that camp does bring up multiple connotations. but
Sure.
These people did appear to choose to be there.
They appeared to be
very happy
of their own volition.
Yes,
apparently.
yeah. You know, lighthearted, fancy free.
Right.
Very happy. I like, how could you watch this and be like, oh, it's the Pledge of Allegiance and they're making the kids say it? Like, I don't know. I guess I didn't expect that to be a fucking total sledgehammer to the echo chamber, but it's just like the fact that I can't have a big pop with that is like, why does this person think that this is connecting to people? And it is, though, you know?
That's the weird part, right? Is
Yeah.
I'm sure it connects with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on over to Oklahoma. And we've got an epidemic going around.
This is one of those moments.
That the new superintendent is promising us is not. He is going to put his foot down right here.
Okay. That you have to really ask where the adults in the room were. The shocking toe-sucking competition was part of a week-long fundraiser for a local coffee shop that employs people with special needs. The video from Deer.
What? I'm sorry. What?
There was a lot of things in that sentence.
That went a lot of different spheres, right? My ADD, I can't remember which one modified what. Like it was a special needs shop that served coffee for
fundraising with toe sucking.
Yeah.
Deer Creek High School in Edmond, Oklahoma shows students licking other students' toes with peanut butter on them. The disturbing video sparking outrage online and among parents in the district. The Deer Creek School District writes in a statement, "We want to stress to our community that much of the information accompanying this video is inaccurate. However, through this specific game, we failed to uphold the dignity of our students and the proud image of our community."
I don't know when the quote's going to come up, but yeah, the superintendent said he's going to put his foot down on this one. I guess the joke worked better.
The irony.
He didn't say that. I said that. All right. We kind of talked about this a few weeks ago. So this was news and then it stopped being news. And then the New York Times was like, let's do a special episode on like a fucking Wednesday. And I listened to the whole episode and I was like, that's exactly what Alan said in like 2 minutes on a Friday show of None Taken. So Google's AI had a flaw in it. You've listened to the show, you've heard us cover it. You know, you understand why. This is one of, I think this was going to live in the wackadoos.
What's going on with Google's AI right now might have a big impact on that thing that's happening this November.
He's afraid to say election because he thinks that thing. Yeah.
It all started when people noticed that it was basically incapable of producing images of white people, unless you wanted an image of people eating fried chicken. But then it got way darker real fast. And it happened when Texas Lindsay on X started asking political questions. She realized that when you ask the AI to generate a poem in the style of someone else, it sees that as an act of creating content that might be harmful or misleading if done in the style of the wrong person. Basically giving us all a backdoor into who this AI is programmed to think are legitimate actors on the internet and who it's programmed to think are dangerous.
Should I play the rest of him or are you good?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah. Okay.
We
and
covered it on the show.
what was like? I mean, again, like I think we're maybe 1 minute into this. We're not going to turn this into a 27-minute episode of the Daily like the New York Times did. What was that about, Alan?
So the data set that the AI was trained on was primarily from Western European and American.
They're like, we got to do something about
We
that.
have to, yes. They wanted to counter that, so they wouldn't be just all white people essentially. But the problem was when you brought up like actual historical figures, it would like the founding fathers, it would generate some that were Black or Native American or
Because
whatever.
it had weights to it, being like, look, we can't
Correct.
just have pictures that are all white
Yes.
people, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Which was obviously a perfect example of trying to do the right thing and fucking it up, which is like a lesson to learn from, right? Like, and also guess what? Well, maybe they won't, but Google should learn from that, right? Like that's the whole point of like trial and error, failure and improvement. And like this is a technology that's like a year old, and we're like, can you believe that this shit isn't fucking perfect when they roll it out? Now, that said, in terms of like an investment and an expectation and a corporation, like you do expect that when Google releases it, that something like that was caught, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, so you understand the intentions behind it and realize that they had
they
good
should have seen
intentions.
it. Like somebody should have been like founding fathers. Why was that not on your 100 list of things to say?
It was an unexpected outcome, I guess. But
They were too busy coming up with weird things. People are going to try to do like a helicopter fish, and like you got to make a helicopter fish be a thing.
Right.
So we got this Robert Hur guy. He was in front of Congress today. How much were you able to pay attention to that with your
A little bit.
I'll bet.
So does he spell it the way you do or no?
No, that was voice to text. I didn't expect you to talk about the sheet on the fucking podcast that the listeners don't get to look at. God, and that's not how I would spell her. I'd do Herr like my last name.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
No. Robert Hur.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's just H-E-R?
H-U-R.
Oh, H-U-R. Okay.
Yeah. No?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Anyways. So he testified in front of Congress today. There's a lot of different videos that were being shared about him and other Republicans. Well, before I talk about that, did you see that he had stepped down right before this?
I did not see that. No.
Whoa. You said it. So I think that he stepped down so that Merrick Garland couldn't, as his employee, tell him not to.
Oh, okay.
Or he may have been pressured to step down by Merrick Garland. I'm not sure. But he stepped down and then he testified in front of Congress.
Right.
And if you remember this name, or if you don't remember this name, first of all, good for you. Alan, I'll be talking plenty here.
He was part of the investigation into the classified documents that
Joe Biden turned over
had,
immediately when asked
by his Corvette in the garage.
His Corvette. It's in a number of rooms. Some of the clips you'll see is like it was in a number of rooms throughout the house. And then what's the rest of that story? When they asked him to turn them back over, which he shouldn't have had them. When he asked to turn them back over, he gave them right back, in which case they didn't press any charges for that, just like they wouldn't have pressed charges against Trump until he repeatedly didn't do it, and then like orchestrated plans to be obstinate to it. Anyways.
Right, and all the Republicans grilling this guy were essentially saying, "Why didn't you recommend, some sort of indictment based on what he did, given the facts of the case?" And he continues to lay out the reasons for that, and part of it is what you just said, is the way Biden reacted to the situation.
Right. Yeah, and at the end of the day, this is a part of the man's report. This is the clip that, like, all of those other clips end with. Or sorry, let me say this again. All those other clips don't end with, and so because of that, here's the area where Biden clearly broke the law and should be indicted, as precedence shows, right?
Right.
Okay. That isn't something they can structure those arguments, so they leave that out. This woman comes up and says, "Okay, how about this part of your speech?"
I have a copy of your report today, don't you, in front of you?
I do.
Could you read a portion of it for me? Your words, it is page 11, starting on line 3, beginning with the words, "Unlike the evidence involving Mr. Biden." Would you read the next few sentences?
Unlike the evidence involving Mr. Biden, the allegations set forth in the indictment of Mr. Trump, if proven, would present serious aggravating facts.
Keep going.
He doesn't want to.
I know.
Congresswoman, I'm happy to have you read the words in my report.
Well, it's your report, so I think it actually is more fitting that you read those.
Most notably, after being given multiple chances to return classified documents and avoid prosecution, Mr. Trump allegedly did the opposite.
Keep going.
According to the indictment, he not only refused to return the documents for many months, but he also obstructed justice by enlisting others to destroy evidence and then to lie about it.
If you're going to call this guy in front of Congress, you have to know that the part that he included in the article, in the report, to be fair, is going to be highlighted and deserves to be the bottom line of the testimony.
Yeah, I agree. I
mean, that's the bottom line. Like if you are going to compare these two, which I think it's appropriate to compare them, I just don't think you should spend any time on it because on its face, it's not the same thing.
It's
otherwise you're saying that they should have charged Trump back in March 2022 or whenever they first started asking him, March 2021, whenever they first started asking him, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that they should have charged Trump then too. So in which case they both should be charged.
Right.
Okay, is that what you want? Fine. They both do. Fine. Guess what? He's going to have a very easy trial where he complied. Your guy still did all the things he's convicted, accused of.
Yeah, it's just the response is just night and day. So obviously, if you're going to compare those two situations, it's just
it's, you know what one might say? They're apples and oranges. I'm gonna write that down.
I see what you did there.
You see, because of his face paint.
Yeah.
That's bad for me.
Very nice.
Okay, thanks. That's not padding, but good job.
We love puns.
There you go. Thanks. It wasn't a clumsy portmanteau. I got worked that into it. Okay.
You're stuck in the portmanteau?
Oh, that's it. Port. MANTOE. That, you know what? That's a clumsy portmanteau.
It is. Oh God.
You know how much I don't like feet.
I do know this.
All
Yes.
right. All right. So I have 2 clips to end the show.
Okay. What we got?
Oh, you wait. Hold on. I have one more thing about. I'm glad I saw that I made a note. Do you know the transcript of? Okay, so Hur's report centers around a conversation he had with Biden back in October.
Right. Which was right after October 7th happened.
It wasn't right after. It was October 7th.
It was the day of. Okay.
So the transcript of that report came out, and that's worth dwelling on in the context of them, because remember, his report was this man has no good memory, and if he was on trial, it wouldn't go anywhere because he's such an old bumbling buffoon, right?
Essentially, that's what he said. Yes.
That basically sparked the narrative that led up until the State of the Union, and people are like, well, all right, Stormin' Joe's still here. And that might be a different guy's name.
And remember, Biden was very upset about that in the Biden administration. That characterization, they didn't feel was, deserved.
Right. Okay, so the transcript came out. So the interview was happening on October 7th, but most importantly, in the transcript, the interviewer, the investigator, had to keep slowing Biden down at times. And like in the transcript, he's complimenting him for his photographic memory.
Right. And so the whole scandal was that he couldn't remember when his son Beau died. But he does actually say the date. He just doesn't remember the year. And obviously that was a very stressful day, October 7th for him as well. So,
yeah.
Just in context.
Factor too. Sure. Okay. All right. So I got 2 end of show clips.
Okay.
This is, we'll see how this goes. Maybe we just end it with this. This is a challenge. Try not to cry.
1,000 roses?
Emotional roller coaster, Alan.
Can I buy 1,000 roses?
They're $6 each.
How many do you have?
You're talking about red long stem roses?
Yeah, I want to hand them over to a nursing home for free.
Let me just ask the owner.
I wanted to buy 1,000 roses.
1,000?
1,000.
I got 100. You want red? I got a beautiful 100 red.
Okay, what's your
No
name?
problem, Alba.
How much is it per rose?
I will gladly give you a deal on it because a rose usually runs about $6.
How much can you do per rose?
I'm gonna take them with you after I clean them off, about $3.
Half off?
Yeah.
Why do you want to help?
Listen, you're trying to do something nice. I'm trying to help you. I have senior
I
citizens.
saw this first thing in the morning. And I think this is about when I punched out. She's about to say she has senior parents, and I'm thinking I should stop talking.
Listen, parents, go make senior citizens happy.
What's the grand total?
Just like that.
$300? Can I leave it? Tip by any chance?
No,
Over?
absolutely not. Use that money and pay it forward, okay? No.
I want to give you $500.
I don't, but I'm going to use it for something good. Doing good things,
Thank
okay?
you. Love you.
Oh,
This is for you.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
It's beautiful.
You like roses?
I love those.
Oh, I love your smile.
Thank you very, very much.
No problem. You're amazing.
Thank you for brightening our lives today.
Can I give you a hug? Love you.
Thank you.
Got you a rose.
Dude, all that for 300. I gotta stop. I can't keep watching this. Like that's worth every penny, right?
Dude, that's so sweet.
Yeah. God damn it. Who sent me that? I'm glad I didn't write it down. I'm just gonna motherfuck you for something.
Oh god. Okay.
All right. All right. Should I leave you on something?
Well, we're clamped out here.
Okay. Well,
No, I'm good.
okay. I can have an alternate ending if we need to go off on brand.
Oh.
Yeah, we moved the. No, we shouldn't play this.
No, let's just leave it as it is. It was a good ending. We landed the plane.
That would have been bad taste.
Yeah, that would not have been.
Okay. All right.
Don't
Well,
wanna
how
follow
about
that.
I ask you a question then.
Okay, let's do that.
I asked you if planetary orbit is circular logic.
You did.
You know what? This has been a shorter show than usual. Can you give me see how long this is worth? Okay. Do you remember Peter's? If I say this, are you gonna know that I'm still a little verklempt? If I say Peter Cetera,
Yeah. Yeah, he was a singer.
yeah,
didn't he
adult
have-
contemporary, right?
Yeah. Didn't he have a song on like the Lion King soundtrack or something?
It wasn't that soundtrack. I'll let you get to it. This is
Okay.
the song though. Like this came on. I was at work at somebody where they play. Here's the fun. So I was at work and this was playing like in the cafeteria or something.
Uh-huh.
And ever since I got the saxophone, I'm like, I wonder if I can play that on the sax.
Oh.
But anyways, that was what led my attention to it. And I was like, fucking jam, right?
I haven't heard this in forever. Yeah.
So I feel like when I was this age, this was one of those songs that it felt like an old person song, like who sings like this?
Right.
And now I'm an old person. And for the first time, I'm like, this isn't like a teenage love song. This is like, I am the man who will fight for your honor. And but then I started listening to it. And he was like, I'll be the hero that you're looking for. Like, what do you know?
yeah.
I don't want somebody to just be fighting for my honor. Like, how about you do like diplomacy? Get out of the situation without it's fine. Like, it's fine. Let's just get back to our place. We don't have to get into a fight with everybody that disrespects me. Like, it's
I'm
kind
gonna
of
defend your honor, goddammit.
and then he's like, we'll rule over our kingdom forever, all for the glory of love. Like, it's kind of weird old people music, but
It's a little-
fucking jams, dude. It jams so good.
You know what? It kind of does. I hadn't heard that in years and years and years. But as soon as you hit play, I was like, oh yeah, that's that song. I know that. Yeah, it does jam.
The soundtrack,
It slaps a little bit. Yeah.
The Karate Kid.
What the fuck?
Right? I just said all that stuff about being old people music, and it's literally about a teenage karate star. All right, man.
right.
I'm gonna play the rest of this because you're not judging, right? I'm
No,
gonna play the rest of this. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Cheers. That was
Cheers. Bye.
Sometimes I just forget, say things I might regret. It breaks my heart to see you cry. I don't want to lose you. I could never make it alone.
Oh, they're doing karate in the video.
Say fight. Live forever.
Ever, never.
Celine Dion was saying that too.
Oh,
He did
yeah.
a song like that. Power of Love.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm buzzed up. I'm about to pick that saxophone up out.
Do it.
No, I can't play it yet.
Oh, look at that.
don't know what notes they are. It's too long. Right
It's
about
very
here, I'm
long.
like, yeah. Oh, wait. From a long time ago. What? What? I'll take my castle far away. It's like so weird. Like who hears this and be like, ah, romance. Also, it looks like Peter Cetera.
It does.
I can't stress enough how creepy this part is. 'Cause he's in a room by himself staring up to a corner.
Is he just discount Michael Bolton or?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Wow.
Wait. We did it all. That's fine. That's fine. All right, man. I'll talk to you on
All right, cheers, man.
Thursday night. Guys, we'll see you on Friday.
See you then.